back again. Happy Halloween to those of us that didn't join for the Critique My Beats episode. I had something that I wanted to create content-wise, and I think this channel was becoming more of a streaming channel anyway, so I would love to get an open dialogue for those of us that are not out and about for this Halloween festivity about what do you think is the biggest distraction for you as an artist, music producer, or whatever you identify as creatively. I would love to know. I do think that I'm going to start up a Zoom call so that you guys can call in and we can actually hear from you and not just in the chat. Some things are a lot easier to explain in person. So I will make this is the first time I'm doing it, so you know if it's if it's off to a rough start, it's off to a rough start, and I'm okay with that. But I want to try this out because if it works out well, this is a sign of things to come. This is a sign of things to come. All right, so thank you for those that are rejoining from the last stream. We are back. Yes, we are. All right, so no, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this. Okay. First and foremost, my friends, thank you and welcome. Oh, what the heck is going on there? Okay. Yikes. All right. So, biggest distraction. Why don't y'all just fire some off real quick? Just the obvious ones. I've taken this question before and I've answered it a certain way, but I've updated my answer since over the last 6 months, especially the more that I spend time with producers. I can hear two of you. Okay, so what that means is that sucks. So what that means is it may not work with the Zoom. One, two. Yep. Yeah, I hear one. What you? That's why I can't be listening. I can't be listening to folks. You just randomly, you gotta fix that. No, you gotta fix that. Head ass. You gotta fix that. I don't gotta fix nothing. Anyways, biggest distraction, number one, other music producers. Hello. How about the first one out the gate? Other music producers. I've said this one many a times, but this is not the one that I think is the biggest distraction. Other music producers. I think we look at other music producers in this space that we're in right now, YouTube-wise. We look at the things that this person is doing compared to what this person is doing, and we try to kind of predict the trends of where things are going based upon what we see within our feed. I always said that was a distraction only because you don't have an insight into the why people do what they do. And when you don't have a why and you're following somebody else's direction, there's a lot of issues that can arise. And when those issues do happen, those same people that you got that thing from are not here to provide where you should go next or what you should do once you meet this particular checkpoint, because it was never your why. It was always their why. Oops, I had two tabs open. You in VR 2.0. I'm sorry, 2LO. It's all good. I always thought that was a big distraction. The obvious ones, some of you are already mentioning here. Let me see. Let me actually get this involved in the chat. Because you got some good ones here. I need to update this chat feature. I think it's important to talk about this only because I think that a lot of the times we think our issues are externally when they're really mindset, when they're really the limitations we put on ourselves. Has nothing to do with anybody else, but it's easy to say that other people are the reason why certain things are occurring in our lives. And every once in a while, I'm kind of gifted with a conversation piece that just sits in my head and it floats around and I'm like, okay, what is this for? Why am I being given this? What am I sharing away from this? I'm a vehicle of information. What am I sharing and why am I sharing it? That being said, so I was all set to make a beat, but I got distracted. Oh, then this live stream is one of those reasons. Social media and my phone all together. I am with you. I am with you. Is distraction a form of entertainment? It can be. A distraction definitely can be a form of entertainment. But Fast Track says balancing multiple lives, video games, school, relationship, gym, work. The balancing act, the great balancing act of life and creative. That is definitely something that a lot of us endure and go through. Here's what I think it is. And I think that this is going to strike a lot of you by surprise, only because maybe it won't, because you guys know the nature of my content. I was having a conversation with my friend Dorian, and he texted me something random. And I know it's always a topic I need to bring up to my YouTube audience when it's something that I've already been thinking about. I've been letting kind of ruminate inside my brain, and then somebody else confirms it, completely unrelated from the thought that I had. I truly feel like the music industry is the biggest distraction, specifically from independent rappers and independent music producers. And let me tell you why. And I would love to bring some of you on. I'm going to have a Zoom call with you guys really like today in a few minutes, actually. So if you want to join me in Zoom and have that conversation here, we'll do that. And I'll share that here on the screen. I truly feel like the music industry is the biggest distraction for rappers and music producers. I feel like there's this 1 foot in, 1 foot out hokey pokey that rappers and music producers do in the independent world that literally distracts them from ever seeing the pinnacle of their success. Matter of fact, let's go another level. And I said this to Dorian in response to the message he sent to me. I feel that many rappers and producers who are independent are parading around as music creators, but in all actuality, you're a fan with a hobby. This is not said to down anybody or make you feel like you're less than, but so many that are out here are fans with a hobby. How do you know? Because they're always in the know of what happens with what celebrity. You guys know that I don't make a lot of content on my channel about other people, like celebrities. I like to focus on you guys. I like to focus on philosophies and things that we can talk about that is not just the nature of other people, or celebrities, I should say specifically. I had a conversation with a friend of mine back in my first year of college. And this dude was somebody who was like, he was a part of one of the local gangs. And that's relevant because he was around a lot of OGs who gave him wisdom that was above his age, that was ahead of his time, ironically. And he told me one time, I asked him about some celebrity gossip, some kind of hip hop gossip, and he said, nah, I don't pay attention to no other man. That's a waste of my time. And something about that way that he was kind of dismissive about the gossip of other people and the celebrity worship culture, the way he was dismissive of it, in turn made me look in turn at myself and say, yeah, why am I so obsessed with it? Well, it's part of society. Society is obsessed with the famous. They're obsessed with the people who are the most known, right? When you think about producers that are in the game, you think about names like Murder Beats, or you think about names that are just always circulating around. Those are the ones that producers are always talking about. Even right now, the hot topic is palettes and stealing samples. And that is something that I could tell you this channel would be so much larger, so much faster if I had a content obsession with celebrities. That's what people want to talk about. They want to talk about celebrities. I don't. I never liked it. I've never been obsessed with it, even when I was still wet behind the ears and getting around these sessions and being around these artists and producers and meeting them in person. The more that I met them, the less I put them on a pedestal. Not because they were assholes, some of them were, but because I remember them being just human beings who not only do they have extraordinary lives, but they have an extraordinary focus on their lives, and they know this. They're fully aware of this. And when you have an extraordinary focus on your life, you treat normal Joe Schmoes like myself very differently. You treat them like your time is more valuable than their time. You treat them very dismissively. And I saw that firsthand. I never liked that. I was like, if I was ever in a position of influence, I wouldn't want to be dismissive to people. I feel like everybody's story means something. Everybody's story means something. But I found myself getting more and more pushed away from the industry the older I got, because I started realizing, damn, there are literal peers of mine who are, in my opinion, light years ahead of these other more famous producers, more famous rappers, and they're not moving up because of their obsession about where this person is going to be, what they're doing, why they stopped doing certain things, and they're trying to follow suit with somebody that they don't have any kind of connection with, yet they're obsessed. Now, that trickles down more than just folks who are in this. That trickles down to folks who are around us right now. There's so many people. You know somebody right now, maybe it might be you, where you can name all the things that Kanye West has done in the last week. You can name all the things that Kanye West has done in this last week, but you don't remember what you had for breakfast. You will share music that you, not you in particular, but just some folks will share music that they don't like more than they'll share music they actually like. So this is where I came to the conclusion that the music industry, being concerned about what the music industry is doing, trends in the music industry, is the biggest distraction to us as independent rappers and music producers. Well, somebody may argue and say, well, how can it be a distraction if we're in the same industry? My question to them is, are we in the same industry? If you were a cable man and it was your job to come to somebody's house and install the new package, the sports package, and while you were installing the sports package and you're putting it together and you're fixing the universal remote to get everything programmed, the plumber comes out of the bathroom and says, oh, no, you're doing it all wrong. Would you, as the cable man or cable woman, take that advice? Would you take that advice as solid advice? Would you take that as somebody who's experienced in what you're doing? I use this example because I feel like that's what we do sometimes as independent artists and music producers. We allow folks who have never been independent a day in their life to tell us how to be independent, to tell us what we should and should not be doing. I see it so many times, and I ask producers all the time, I say, I hope that you're not convinced, and I hope you don't believe that just because somebody has influence, that means that they're intelligent. Just because somebody is famous doesn't mean that they know how they got famous. It doesn't mean that they know something that you don't know. How about this? Just because somebody has multi-millions in a company that you have never built doesn't mean that they are smarter than you. But we have been led in society to believe that. Us as independent artists and producers have been led to believe that because that's part of the business model. If you always desire what someone else has in a place of influence, they stay influential. So I feel, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest distraction for rappers and music producers is the music industry. So what does that leave you at? And I want to leave this conversation open. I'm going to put a Zoom link in here, and I want you guys to join me. Let's talk face to face. What does that leave us? I think at some point you have to ignore the music industry. I think at some point you must ignore the music industry. At some point, I got rid of the TVs inside of my studio. I used to have a home studio in Rialto, California, where we had our little house and whatnot. And I just got rid of cable for a year. And I asked myself, would that change my workflow? Could that be good for me? I got rid of cable. I got rid of it entirely to the point where it was like anything that was left on that TV was not worth watching. Not if it's CBS, NBC, you know what I'm saying, ABC, KCAL, all the local channels, Fox. It was not worth watching. Plus, I only watch NBA and Impractical Jokers anyways. I got rid of it. Jay Owen says, my wife is from Rialto. That's fire. When I stayed in Rialto, I got rid of it. And would you know I made the most beats in that year than I've made in any year. Not only my best beats, but it was some of the, not only the most beats, but it was some of my best beats because I got to really sit with the process and stay with it and really understand the things that I'm working on. Now, last thing I want to say about this before I bring some folks into the Zoom call is this. I don't think that means you need to get rid of all of the things around you that could be deemed distractions. I think that we need at least one or two to bring a little harmony to what we do. For me, it may be games on my phone. For you, it may be having your Xbox, it may be your PlayStation, it may be whatever it is for you that allows your brain to stop having to always be active and doing something and have to perform at an optimal rate. Now, everybody's brain is different, but I'm saying I think all of us need a place to just dump out and have a hobby. Just have that. You need that. You need that. You need that. You need something. Because when you made music your profession, you took away probably one of the most fire hobbies you had. The moment that you said music needs to make me money, you took away one of the most fire hobbies you ever had, and you didn't replace it. Keon said, are you going to get rid of your TV again? Well, the thing about this TV is that none of them are connected to cable. Even with the smart TV, like you need to actually log in to accounts in order to watch things. Like I got my movie stuff on here, but that year that I had no cable programmed me to say I am going to always enjoy this more than whatever the hell is going on TV. Right? Yeah, I got my sports games, but I think that's part of the balancing act, right, Keon? I think that's part of the balancing act is having something that allows my brain to just shut off for a second and recharge. Something I don't have to be, like I'm not watching the game to be as analytical with the process as I am with making beats. That's not what I'm doing. I'm watching the game to enjoy the game. I'm watching someone else's mastery at work, and I don't have to understand any of it, right? I could drink a brew, I could drink water, whatever. I could just sit here and just watch. But I think that we need something like that as a hobby, or just something that balances that out, right? But that's me. I just really feel like the music industry is the biggest distraction to rappers and music producers independently, because you know what it also does? It changes the way that you do your own business. It changes the things that you focus on. When you're so obsessed about, like I had to unfollow I had to get off the email list of Vlad TV. Right? Not because I got beef with anything on that. It's just, it was too good. The headlines were too good. And I could find myself going down a rabbit hole from watching one headline about a rapper I know to 17 more. And before I know it, I'm watching an hour-long interview on Vlad TV. It was too good. But it was also a massive, massive distraction. Because now my brain is filled with the lifestyles of other people that don't know me, that don't care about me. And if I were to die tomorrow, they wouldn't even wink an eye. There'd be no hashtag from them. And it's funny because you know people in your life right now that would fist fight you, probably close to you, probably family, that will fist fight you if you say something about their favorite celebrity. My sister she used to love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She would fight for her. I said, that girl don't know you. That woman don't know you. She don't know you. You know me in real life. That celebrity obsession is very strong, though. And because of that, I feel moved to share that message with you today. It's always something fighting for your attention. Today, I call it algorithm. Damn, you YouTube algorithms. I don't watch Vlad TV because of his favoritism and racism towards artists. I respect that. I don't know about everything else, but I've seen and noticed a huge difference in your performability in your cookups. And when you obsessed meditation and flow state, the brain is a powerful tool. Yeah, I started back meditating again on a consistent basis, and I do feel like it gives me more of a free train of thought. But I truly feel like the moment that you unlock yourself, what's up, Lazy Eye? The moment that you unlock yourself from the attachment to the music industry, the moment that you tell yourself, nobody's coming to sign me, nobody's coming to save me, is the greatest gift that you will ever give your music. The moment that you say, I have to figure this out on my own, the moment that you say, not one placement is going to change my life, I have to change my life. The moment you say that, watch how much those placements start flooding in and watch how little you care about them. It is called a law of detachment is what has been called before. When you detach from these things, all of a sudden they are attracted to you. When you're obsessed over them, they're the hardest things to get to. I think it's a skill set to be able to detach yourself from those things if you truly want them. This is ironic. I ran across this live feed. I literally just deleted all social media except BeStars and YouTube right on time. I don't blame you, because in December I'm doing the same thing. Okay, let's do this. I want to talk to some of you guys about this distraction factor. I'm going to invite you into my Zoom. Had to sell the Xbox. I don't blame you, fam. I don't blame you, and I don't judge you for that, because I understand. Like, for me, somebody just put up a tweet that said, I am fighting with all my might the devil of, damn, I would love to have something sweet right now. I felt that. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to lose dad bod and all kind of stuff. That devil of, oh man, I just want something sweet right now. I just want something sweet. That devil right there kicks my ass every time. So what do I have to do? Not have sweets in the house. Because there's sweets in the house, especially after a marathon stream like on Tuesdays, I'm going to go eat that up. If there's cereal in the house, Cocoa Puffs, I'm about to go destroy that. Like, good luck. Oh, that's my son's? Oh, that's what's up. Good luck. Good luck, 4-year-old. I hope you can get to the supermarket because daddy's about to eat them Cocoa Puffs. All right, let me do this. I'm gonna share this with you. And just come in here respectfully, is all I'll say. Come in here respectfully. If you come in here with the bull stuff, we ain't, you ain't gonna last long, but y'all are good human beings. So if you want to join me right now, come onto this live, come onto this Zoom. I'm gonna have a waiting room, so you may not be in at the same time. I may do one at a time right now, but jump into the Zoom. That is a Zoom link, and we'll go there. I appreciate that. You're in my top 5 of professors here at YouTube University. Thanks for snapping me back to reality. That I'm not too old to own this B-craft and C-craft in my early 40s, man. Salute to you. Huge salute to you for that. All right, 3 people have entered the room. First and foremost, let me make sure I set you up. Let me make sure I set you up for a win. I got to make sure I set you up for a win. Let me get this window capture up here on OBS. And we're going to talk to some folks in Zoom. Like, y'all have gotten enough of me. Y'all have had enough of me for a very long time. It's time to hear from the community. It is time to hear from the community. Take your time. Cordy, that is stuck in my head. I promise you, sis. Take your time. That beat tape is amazing. Okay. Let me do this first. Okay, so you guys are jumping in here. I'm gonna actually add a new window, and we're gonna talk. We're gonna get our we're gonna get our Kevin Samuels on. Rest in peace. We're gonna get our Kevin Samuels on, and I promise I ain't gonna cuss nobody out. There we go. All right, so transition, bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's see what this looks like. I'm gonna bring somebody in here. Keon, I'm gonna bring you in here first. Actually, no, Avadon, come on in here. Avadon, come on down. You are the newest contestant on the. I'm just playing. Avadon, are you connected? Are you unmuted? Uh-oh. I gotta test this thing out first. Avadon, are you connected to audio? Okay. I'll let you connect. I'll let you do you. There we go. 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 Avadon.
What's good? What's good?
My guy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. To yourself?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well, bro. So, talk to me about what you feel like is the biggest distraction for rappers and music producers. Just to preface this, Avadon is somebody I've known on here for years. Somebody who has been another pillar of the community here, and somebody who is a contributor of the Patreon, and somebody I always love to bounce ideas back and forth. A guy who really knows his YouTube, so definitely follow his YouTube channel. But Avadon, man, what do you think is the biggest distraction for us as rappers and music producers, bro?
Expectations.
Expectations. Expand upon that. What is that?
Usually, sometimes we will project an expectations before we commit to just the journey and just gaining the skill level. Sometimes, a lot of times, we will see the glamour, and I'm gonna say a quote that hit me hard like a ton of bricks.
Okay.
Undisciplined creativity creates poverty.
Undisciplined creativity creates poverty. Okay, how do you break that down?
Okay. So basically, when we as creators want to go into what we want to do for a living, many times we work off motivation when we feel inspired. We don't want to go in when we don't feel like it, like the gym. Right. Like I'm somebody who I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning every single day. I'm in the gym by 6, and you don't feel like it.
You sure don't. You sure don't. It like it's that. You know what it is for me, bro? It's that first 5 seconds after you like your alarm goes off and you're looking at your phone and your phone is like I don't know if it's the phone or if it's your eyes that are like, dang, like it's real glazy right now. Like, you sure you don't want to hit that pillow? Like the pillow's only 5 inches away. You go right back.
And that's where I'm coming from. It's like sometimes when I say expectations, I mean it's really how we think.
Right.
And this can be broken down at so many different levels, down to what we eat, what we watch on TV. All that plays a role to what we expect because we go by what we're inspired by.
This is facts.
And sometimes I guess for me, what drives me, I'm always inspired to become a better version of myself every single day. So It's like when I wake up, that thought that says, maybe you should get back to sleep. The other thought comes, nah, son, get up.
Like, you know better. Like, cause I think there's nothing worse than that guilt of knowing that you did not give the day all your all. Right. I feel this guilt whenever, and I still fall victim to this. And I shouldn't say victim. I'm no victim. I'm just obsessive. Social media in the morning. Right. When I'm disciplined about it, I'll put the phone in a completely different room. Maybe the next, like the bath. We have a bathroom over next to our room. Next room over, and then I'll wake up and have to go run out the room because I don't want to wake up Nas. Go run out the room to go to the phone and you know, disable it and get my day started. But usually I have worked myself so tired that I'm just crashing out, and then I wake up with the phone right next to me, which is a terrible habit. But that's so true, is that it starts there, and then there's that guilt that kicks in later that's like, did you have to do a whole 2 hours though, like in the morning?
And I think that's what it is, because sometimes you do miss it, but to relay this back to as music producers and rappers, and where I brought up that point, we don't take that mentality of going to the gym with that same mentality. We don't take that mentality of I'm gonna go in front of FL Studio, Machine, Ableton, whatever you use.
Right.
No matter how I feel, I'm going for it.
This is what I'm going to do. There's no that unrelenting. Yeah, it's
that's
true.
That's
the biggest distraction.
It is, because in my opinion, it's like when we feel like I go by when I feel like it, then we're distracted. And that's when our mind is not focused. Man. When you're focused, it's like that mantra on your right. the Mamba
Moment
mentality.
mentality, yeah.
Kobe woke up 3 o'clock every single day
Mm-hmm.
in the gym by 4. He got about 7 sessions in a day.
Yeah.
And
On
it's
off
like
days. On off days. This is not game days. On off days. And game
on off
days.
day, because you gotta look at it this way. It's like I'll put it this way. You're gonna go on social media today.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna eat today. Why not do something you love every day?
Say that.
You're going to, and so it's like it's the allocation of your time.
Yeah.
And no, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with doing these things, but if this is going to get in the way of me doing my best and me being way further than when I am 40, like, and when I'm in my 40s and my 50s,
right, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. And it's like I'm always thinking long ago. You catch me where I'm here now, I promise you ain't going to see me in the same space 10 years from now.
Can't be that way. Can't be that way. That's torture. Bro, that's a literal definition of insanity in some kind of way too, bro. I appreciate that feedback, man. I want to make sure that we get to some other folks in here, but man, always wise feedback from my guy Avadon. Appreciate you, bro.
No doubt, man. Take it easy.
You too, man.
See ya.
Man, super dope, super dope. All right, so let's get to Keon. Keon, you still in here with us? Give him a little second. It's crazy because when he said that, it reminded me of a situation where I was a long day after making beats. I'm laying down inside my studio. What's good, King? And it was, what's up, Keon? What's up, man?
Yo. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, let me finish this quick story, and maybe you got some words on it. I never forget, I was in the studio, and I was living Rialto again. It was a very powerful time, I guess, in my life. I'm laying down, and you know that, Keon, you know that time between like 3 a.m., you already been like laid out on your couch or your bed, and like you wasn't really going to sleep. That wasn't the intent, but somehow sleep just kind of snuck up on you and was like, go to sleep. Like it just like shook you in, and then you woke up and you're like, so I was in that place where you know you're falling asleep, but it's like this weird kind of like middle world. This middle, you're not quite dreaming. You're very aware that you're awake, but you're not quite awake either. And
that's like your brain. It's still on because like the phone mess you up. So it's like your brain is still moving inside your head.
So that's what it feels like. And then I'm telling you, I literally sat in there and my brain was like, I heard a voice as clear as day. Other people may say it was hallucination. I believe it was the voice of God that's literally said, real men don't waste time. And it scared the living daylights out of me, bro. I just got to the point where like I got straight up because I literally thought somebody was in my ear talking. And it said, real men don't waste time. And the voice sounded really similar like to my grandfather almost. But I guess it had to be a voice that was powerful to me. But I'd never forget that. And that, what he said right now, what Avadon said, it gave me goosebumps because I remembered that feeling of like, you're not going to be here forever. But Keon, that aside, man, welcome here, bro. You're somebody obviously who's been a contributor to this community for quite some time. It's good to see you again here. But
I know, man. What's going on? How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Talk to me about what you think is the biggest distraction for rappers and music producers.
Well, first of all, that's a good question. And second off, I actually talked about this in my head.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest distraction is believing everyone else's advice.
Okay. Give me more on that. What is that?
It's like, you know, like you like somehow, let's say you feel down, right? And you want to get everybody else's opinions, right? Some opinions may not always define your life because it's their own life. So you can't always believe in their opinions because their advice may be as bad as what you perceive it as. But some other ones may be like, okay, I can apply that. But just don't make their life like yours.
Yeah. That's always been my issue too. Before I became a YouTube creator, when I was really just going to YouTube for information, like I'm talking about way back in the War Beats days when he was the only FL Studio tutorial guy on here, right? My biggest thing was I didn't really want to get a bunch of information from as many different people as possible because I was always worried about picking up everybody's bad habits.
Right.
Like, I know you have good habits. I know you know some things about compression, some good things about this. But
I have some good habits, but bad habits I have too.
So imagine this is the reason why a lot of producers find themselves in this endless loop of, I don't think my beats are quite where I need them to be. And what if the contribution of that is taking on not just all of the good habits of this producer, but taking over a bad habit? And maybe you're taking a good habit for them, but a bad habit for your sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a thing too. Like when I hear Kenny Beats talks about why he doesn't sidechain the kick to the 808 and how he thinks that's the dumbest thing in the world. And it's like, for his sound, that makes so much sense. But for somebody else who is using these supremely distorted 808s that are tweaking around with the same distortions as a kick, it may be a aesthetic choice, a strategic choice, and it just may make it sound a whole lot cooler. But you would never know that unless you're picking up all these good habits that might turn into bad habits for you. So I think that's a great point, man.
Yeah, that is, man. It's just some advice you may not want to pick on. It's just other advice you may want to just take, but don't always try to fully copy them. Don't try to copy their life.
I had a buddy of mine tell me, go ahead, I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
No, I said, you're good. I was saying, like, that's the biggest mistake is trying to use everyone else's opinions to put in your own life, and that's where it falls.
That's fire, bro. I had a buddy of mine, I talk about him all the time, Epic. He told me, he said, it's important for you to determine the difference between rules and laws. And not everything is meant to be laws in your life. And sometimes we get tips on our music and we take it as law. Like, I will never sidechain this to this. I will never use this kind of 808. I will never. And it's like, when you do that, you've cut yourself off to so much creative opportunity. But a lot of people do it, either consciously or not consciously. Like, imagine you play a beat and you're in a room full of 16 people that are laughing at you. Whatever it is that they're laughing at, you probably won't ever want to do again.
Bro, you'll be a laughing stock the next day.
Say it again. You said laughing stock the next day. Yeah.
You'll be a laughing stock the next day.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like, that's unfair though, because what if that thing, like, what if somebody didn't like you taking a snare and moving it another measure over, and then that's literally the DNA of drill. I always use that example, but it's like, what if you did that and people were like, what is this offbeat sounding? Why your hi-hats sound like it sounds indecisive. Like, imagine, I can see that. I can see that happening.
Yeah, I can
and
see
then
it too.
Like, why are you sliding it there? It sounds weird. Like, that doesn't sound like the trap I grew up. So when I think about that, I'm like, dang, you could have literally derailed somebody from like being a pioneer in drill with the wrong critiques.
Yeah.
So, man, I appreciate the input. Thank you, man, for chiming in, bro. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, bro. Always, man.
All right, I'm gonna get at you, man.
All right,
peace.
All right.
Sweet. I like this format. Y'all like this format? Are y'all with this? Y'all with this? A little less Curtis, a little more community? My bad. Are y'all with this? Let me know. I'm looking in the comments right now. I'm gonna bring somebody up right now. Let's do Jazz Fizzy. Jazz Fizzy. What's going on with you? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Going well. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Just taking in everyone's thoughts. And this is actually an amazing topic. I hope you make this in a podcast format so we can all hear this back as well.
Man, this may become the new podcast format. If these are the kind of conversations that can be had, I'm enjoying hearing other input. I get tired of my voice. It's the same voice I have. People be like, I'm tired of your voice. I'm like, welcome to my life. I have to be with me. But that being said, Jazzy Fizzy, first and foremost, where are you from, bro?
So I'm from Canada. I'm just north of Toronto in a smaller town called Barrie.
Nice. And what do you do? Are you producer, artist?
Yeah, I follow you on Twitter and stuff. I did stuff for Drake, T.I. I got my own Splice label. Like, I'm in it. Okay. I'm just not one of those guys that's actively tweeting and promoting and doing all that stuff. I'm more of like just like a sound engineer in the background. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really looking for all that kind of stuff.
So this is going to be interesting to ask you this question because I've literally said right down to the independent artists and music producers that the very industry that you've had success in is the biggest distraction to their independent thriving. Now, I want to hear first of all your opinion on that. I don't. Of course, we brought you on here to get the honest opinion on it, and then also also hear what you think is the biggest distraction. But what is your thoughts on that as someone who has been in the industry, who has worked with a lot of influential artists in the industry? How do you feel about that being the distraction to independent artists and producers?
I think it's most accurate. I mean, if you think of every album, right? Let's just take last Friday. Instead of it being Rihanna's Wicked ballad that came out with the Wakanda soundtrack, what did everyone meme about? All right, 21 Savage and Drake heard that, 40 sick, boom. Metro Boomin has an album, magically the samples didn't clear. Everyone finds the meme and everything else versus like, new music's dropping, we should go support our favorite artist.
Right.
And that's just on a major level. Then there's every other level that you can imagine that. Like, let's say you were going to drop your album and Drake decided to say, I'm coming that Friday. Good grief, why would you want to drop it that same day? Ace Boogie, I think A Boogie just said that, like, I'm going to drop my stuff December. I'm not waiting on November now. And that's at the major level. We're just seeing that. And I think you mentioned this earlier. I could tell you all the sponsorships that Kanye got dropped by before I can tell you the last 5 presets I used in my beat within Omnisphere, Arturia Lab, you name it.
Yeah. And how do you feel about that when you're saying that out loud? It's a different effect than when you know it and when you say it out loud. When I said it out loud, it made me feel a little bit weird. How does that make you, like, how do you interpret that?
Super unmotivated, because you know how it is. You get in the cycle of just, when you find like a good post and you're just scrolling, next thing you know, it's like an hour later, you're like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Nothing's more defeating if you have like a list of goals you want to get done in a day,
right? And
you just wasted it with some type of social media or everyone else's drama or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. See, and this is where, and this is not me opposing anything that you're saying. This is where I just want to play devil's advocate.
Sure.
This is where I feel like sometimes we describe the industry, the music industry, and we describe it in levels, right? Obviously, we know that there are metrics and analytics that separate a Rihanna from, someone who's more locally known. But this is where I feel like the obsession is supported. The obsession thrives when we kind of have this pedestal that we look at the industry. And my question is not if it's a bigger industry than independence, but is it even the same industry? And should it be compared as opposed to the different levels of the music industry? So somebody who's just an artist, like what's old girl, that in your munch, what Ice Spice or whatever, Ice Spice, like she's not on the same level as a Rihanna. So there's the levels within there. It always was weird to me comparing that industry to an independent industry that has their own versions of the Jay-Z's, like a Tech Nine or someone who's in this industry and they're at the top of what independence looks like, and then there's folks who are like different levels and different tiers of that. So I don't know. That's the one thing that I was listening to you say, and I'm like, should it be a comparison between indie and major when we're talking about a leveling system?
I don't think so, but with marketing, it's just cranking up the volume of what we get in terms of algorithms and what's just thrown in our face. You said the realest thing, right? Rihanna and Ice Spice, they're different. But what's everyone memeing about from last week?
Ice Spice.
Ice Spice has that Bikini Bottom song. Yep. It's from SpongeBob, da-da-da-da-da. I'm just saying, like, there's a method to what they're doing, and it keeps working, unfortunately.
And see, this is why I want to bring this conversation up, and I'm so glad we're getting a perspective, a varied perspective on it, because I feel like this is the endless loop that we find ourselves in. And isn't it ironic us as producers find ourselves in an endless loop? I had to go ahead and mention that. But I think that's part of the issue. I think the fact is we keep allowing it to trickle into our conversation to be the center focus of what we do. And on top of that, it's not like these platforms help, because we probably get the most engagement and viewership on what we do when we speak on it or when we share it. Right. Like, that's an engagement point. And this is something that I'm like, I hope that it's conversations like this that can, throw a glitch in the matrix, shift something around, have a different experience with it altogether,
But I think it's guys like you and everyone else that's on here that's trying to make a change
Yeah.
that will make a change. Because if everyone's silent, we're going to get still fed the same stuff until we start making our own glitches.
This is real.
It's just going to be the same line. And actually, you mentioned something that's actually earlier on that made me think. When we talk about the content of like, what is it called? Like destructive patterns and like you mentioned Palace. I'll mention him, right?
Mm-hmm.
All we're hearing is the drama within Palace. I promise you, in about 2-3 weeks, when Kanye starts this apology tour and other brands start jumping back, it's going to be a forgotten thing.
Yeah.
But as far as music producers, we need to find out what happened in that situation, because there's tons of people that watch you. I'm sure there's some guy that wants to do samples and wants to send them to Palace and Metro and Murder or whatever. But if you're the one getting taken advantage of and there's no accountability for you or no repercussion for that gentleman, how do you survive, at least on the artist label placement side of the music industry?
I'll be honest.
No one ever covers the fallout,
and
which I find ironic.
That is ironic. It is ironic because it's the same thing when you think about like when one of these companies like H&M does some crazy racist campaign and then they get an influx of sales and it's like mission accomplished. They made an apology and all of a sudden they make a few donations to a few charities and all of a sudden everybody forgets about it and it goes back to business as usual. I've been back in there. I'm ashamed to say that, but I've been back in there and that's just the way it goes. I think, repeat your question one more time because I had a point and it'll help trigger that. You were saying that
if we don't get the follow-up or the accountability to the drama, at least in our culture of producers, how can we help the future producers know that, hey, if you got ripped off, like how Gunboy did with Palace, what do you do? Where do you even start? So
this is where I get a reminder of two things. One thing I'm going to say is going to be supremely controversial, and a lot of people are going to disagree. Maybe they'll agree, maybe they won't, because this is not going to sound like your everyday advice. I think that producers who are fearful of being scammed need to be scammed.
Yeah.
Why? Why do I say that? Not because I think that you're a horrible person and that somebody should take advantage of you, but I think that whatever you fear is going to happen anyways. And the quicker it happens, the bigger the lesson, right? And if you can have it happen when you're dealing with pennies in comparison to millions, I would much rather you experience that early on because that's a part of our industry. That's a part of every industry is that you will have people who scam, unfortunately, in every industry you're in. I'm of the schooling of the Palace situation is just the newest one. But it's something that has been going on. It's the latest, right?
It's been happening in the background. We just don't hear about it.
And so my thing is, I look at the music industry as, in the theme of Halloween, right? I look at the music industry as this imaginary haunted house that everybody wants to go inside and see what it's all about. People are entering in one side of the haunted house and they got smiles on. They're like excited. They got goosebumps. On the other side, there's an exit full of people who have no life in their eyes, who have been abused by this industry, who are writing books and showing movies, and they're telling you what to expect on the inside. There are people in the windows yelling out, "Don't come in here. It's crazy." That's the folks who are making these songs about how they hate the publishing deal that they have and how it feels like a slave deal. And people still want to go inside the building and find out for themselves. So when you see situations like a Palace, I think that it's important that, like, shout out to Weaver Beats. Weaver Beats is another creator here on YouTube that he looks for that kind of stuff and he informs producers. That's why I kept telling him, I was like, I don't care if you're talking about me or anybody that I know, it's important for you to exist because it helps to balance this arena. It shouldn't be where I trust you because I like you. That's not enough. I got to spend more time with somebody before I can give you that privilege of trust. But I look at it and I'm like, bro, are we surprised? Yet we show up in droves. I've made the same argument about, I'm a big fan of Russ, but Russ did something I feel like that was a rollout that was meant to trigger producers. He made a statement some years ago where he said, the reason why music sounds as shitty as it does is because producers are the ones submitting the same kind of beats. And producers got so pissed off. They're like, no, it's artists who pick the beats and da-da-da-da. And you know what they did? They got so angry, they went to his newest music video and left comments.
See?
And you know what YouTube says? YouTube says, oh, we're not looking for if they're negative or positive comments. We're seeing engagement. Let's continue to push and suggest this to more producers. And it's like, how many times do we fall for this loop? Now, I officially believe after, and this is like no disrespect to these folks. I don't know these human beings as men. I just admire from afar. Futuristic, another rapper from, I believe, Arizona. He made this statement about how he wouldn't give a producer 50% of a record. What did producers do? They went to his newest videos, his newest music, and in droves left engagement.
Yeah, you know what? You said it earlier. It's that same H&M shock marketing. It's just the new way of repackaging it to us producers, man.
Yeah.
Literally that, copy and paste.
And it's the internet, so it's not like you're going to beat them up. Like, the producers ain't about to beat nobody up. Like, they'll ride the wave. The person that's getting the influx will ride the wave. And in this situation, it's crazy with Futuristic, him being friends with Kato, who's a big voice in the producer community. All it took was an interview with Kato to, like, iron out what exactly did it mean. And then all of a sudden, people forgot about it and moved to the next thing. And that's what makes me believe that a lot of folks, and I want to get your input on this, and I thank you for your time too, bro, and your input.
Thank you for putting me on. I appreciate it. I was worried that you might have had a huge list of people, so I'm like, if I get in.
Nah. Well, I think folks are like, they're enjoying the conversation, and probably some folks are not used to this platform. So the first time, maybe a little rough. I'm not even tripping on that. I got a few names in here, so you guys will still have some room if you want to jump in. But this is what makes me start to think. So many people are parading around as, I'm a rapper, I'm a music producer, but they would be freed of so much pressure of, how do I promote myself on social media? How do I become big as this person? How do I get 1 million streams? They would relieve themselves of all that stress if they just admitted what is the absolute truth. You're not a professional at this. You are a fan of the culture and a fan of the creation process. You love making music. That's cool, but it's a hobby. Because if you have more tweets about what the music industry is doing, more so than promoting your music, if you have more Instagram posts or stories about music you don't like and where the industry is going or what, and it's less about your promotion of your own project, if you're promoting SoundCloud as a business by putting screenshots of SoundCloud that don't literally lead to a website of yours, you might be more of a fan of what's going on than you are a contributor. And that's okay, but I think there's folks who have to have that real heart-to-heart so they can stop stressing themselves out about something that they're not gonna thrive at with that mentality.
I think people are just, it's that H word you just said. You don't want to admit that you're a hobbyist.
Yeah.
Everyone's too busy trying to be a professional, right?
That's real. That's real.
So to answer your actual overall question, why I got on here, I think so. The premise is what do you think is the biggest distraction? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and it's not a you thing. I think it's just the culture. I think a lot of producers with every hot new sample pack, every hot new VST, everyone's trying to be Thanos, trying to get all the rings and every single sound.
That's fair.
And they're forgetting to open the damn VST, DAW, whatever, and just create the damn thing. Because if you keep watching reviews all day, look at Plugin Boutique, look at the sales, and you're like, okay, bookmarking this for the Black Friday sale. Are you creating? Or are you saying like, oh, I can't create without this new RC Color 2, and if I have that, that's going to level me up as, again, for being a hobbyist to a professional. I'm like, what?
But that's a literal definition of a hobbyist, though. Is somebody who is obsessed with the updates, obsessed with what's coming up next, and that's not a bad word. That's why when I went on Producer Grind, I wanted to at least throw that out there into the dialogue, because that wasn't a conversation that was common amongst producers. Hobby is not a bad word. It's a freeing word, and it actually makes it to where you can start enjoying making music again. Some people don't enjoy making music, not because it has anything to do with the sonics, the instruments, the sample packs, the lack of VSTs. It has nothing to do with that. It's the fact that you monetize the very last thing that brought you happiness, and you haven't replaced it with anything else.
You said it.
Man, Jazz, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts here. Man, enlightening stuff. Where can people find you, and where can they connect with you?
Same little thing in the corner there. Everything's at Jazz Fizzy, but I'm more of a watcher. I believe what you did with Omnisphere and bringing the creator on and just changing the culture of like, just even who reads the terms. I'm thinking like, this guy's insane. He's reading the terms. and then you just gave everyone a sigh of relief that, oh, we can create presets. So
Yeah.
I'd rather promote you, even though we're on your channel.
I appreciate
We need more
that.
people like you that are breaking down and having these honest conversations with the companies that are not really knowing who they're making the products for. Not just
Right.
EDM boys, but for people that do hip hop and lo-fi and R&B. So
Well, they don't
I'd
want.
rather all the promotion come to you and just,
I
if I had
appreciate
hair,
it.
tip my hair to you.
And I'll tell you why they won't do it, because it's not the most popular content. This is not the most popular content. Not now. Same way at one point in time, financial literacy in hip hop wasn't a popular thing. But then you look at an EYL, Earn Your Leisure, and they made it such a cool thing to where now people gravitate in droves over to them. I look at the same arc in what I'm doing, and I recognize that my whole career has been about going the long way because I wanted to get it the right way. So I don't mind that. But I do appreciate you saying that, fam. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Man, likewise. Jazz Fizzy, man. That was super dope. All right. So let me bring somebody else up here. Scully Santana. What's up, HEC? Scully Santana. Let's talk. Y'all are saying some really provoking stuff. Are we doing Zooms? Yes, HEC. You want to jump in here? Go and get that link. And the rest of you, there's only one person right now pending, so you have an opportunity. We can come chop it up right now. I want to hear your thoughts on what you think is the biggest distraction for music producers and artists. Uh-oh, he denied me. He got a little scared.
I hope so.
Blake, what's going on? Terrence Cruel said, why not stay independent underground artist? When I was younger, I got jerked off 2 record deals. I've been scarred. I still need music, but I never wanted a record deal no more. You know, I hate to be the one to bust the bubble, but you know that janky record deals happen in the independent world as well, right? That's also a thing. Like that's a real thing, is that you have a lot of people with horror stories in the independent space. It's just the fact of dealing with people. What's going on, Blake? Can you I can't hear you, but can you hear me? I can't hear anything you're saying. Nada.
And just like that, we are in plan.
There we go.
Hello?
Good. How you doing,
Okay.
Blake?
What's going on, CK? How you doing? God bless and happy Halloween. How's it treating you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. We were going to take the little one out there, but he was kind of acting up, so we said we're going to keep him on home. So, we got a few
Gotta
photos
love
and
kids.
whatnot. You know how it is. So, but that being said, I'm curious to hear, what do you have to say about this topic of the biggest distraction that you feel like for artists and music producers? Because you're a music producer yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would come from the inner reflectance of oneself, besides the content you follow.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys were saying earlier about don't do this, don't do that, blocking creativity by giving advice from people who have made it successful in the beat selling game. And that's kind of like what a lot of people are probably chasing these days.
Right.
Even myself, so I definitely say it's people care what other people think about your beats or your music.
Mm-hmm.
And so you make something, you're like, you think to you, this is amazing. Even your friends, you think it's awesome, but what does the world think?
Right.
Right. And some people are worried about trolls and stuff like that. So, I mean, I used to be one of them, but a whole different idea. So anyway, but I think it's definitely caring about what people think, man. Just so much about the community. People just care about the trolls. They care about, they worried about the negativity, or
Mm-hmm.
oh, that snare's a little too hard, or this and that.
Yeah.
Am I making any sense here?
No, that's making a lot of sense. 'Cause I think a lot of people
Okay.
are in a place where they're doing this for validation, and they're not doing this for
Right.
enjoyment anymore. And you can
Right.
tell a mile away when they're asking questions about, how do I blow up, right? How do I build a fan base? I've never looked at that question more crookedly than I do now, because the idea of building people and not building into people just sounds
Right.
absolutely ridiculous. It's like literally taking a bunch of items in your room and trying to make a mountain out of them, and I want to build a fan base. And it's like, no, you build with people, and more people who want to build come and gravitate and congregate around what you're doing. That's ideally what it is, and that's the reason why so many people struggle, because all they're doing is creating All they're doing is creating a fire that makes them warm. They're not creating a fire that attracts other people that want to sit around the fire with them and tell their stories and be a part of it. And I think a lot of people are just making a fire and crowding over it by only promoting their music, or they're only, and then the only moments they get people to engage with what they're doing is when they get trolls involved, or when they share things about celebrities that other people care more about, they feel like. And that's what it is. I think also, too, this idea of trolls, it's really easy for us to speak on it when we've come to a place of confidence when it deals with trolls, right? When you get to a place where you're like, I'm confident enough in myself to not believe in what a troll has to say. Because we know at the end of the day, a troll is a short version of control. At least that's what I look at it as. I know that's not what it is, but it's control, like a remote control. And what they want to do is control the narrative, control the conversation, control your attention, control everything that's going on. That's what they thrive off of. If I recognize that, then I know that the way that you starve a troll is to not feed them. Don't give them attention. But I also recognize that internet culture and troll culture is still very young. Right? Like,
no, that it is.
the generation before wasn't dealing with internet trolls.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's what the internet was based from back in, even the 90s, the 2000s.
Right.
You could say whatever you want. You could joke around. People bash each other on threads all day.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden it matters because everybody's involved. It's the new way of life.
I was going to say, well, they come seek you out where you're at. I think in threads and community threads, from what I remember about that culture, is that you had to sign in. You had to have a login. You got in there, and then you kind of knew what to expect in certain places. Like, I used to be a part of like those lyricist threads where you kind of like were like rapping and battling people. I was part of like the rock beats threads where you're battling other producers. I knew what to expect in there. I was probably gonna get called a bunch of crazy stuff, and I was gonna yell a bunch of crazy stuff, and that was that. But I knew what was going on. The difference, I think, now is that you could be minding your damn business in your community, focused on what you're doing, and somebody walks in there and says, I think you're this. Now what?
Exactly. And there is one more thing that is a big I'd say distraction is, who do you follow? If you're a beginner, or you've been doing it for a couple of years, or you just want to improve, who do you follow? And are you worried about sounding like a carbon copy of this person? Just like I said in your chat probably about a year or so ago, I say, what if we got that schlump, that Curtis King schlump, and you're like, it doesn't matter, man. That's the point, is to borrow a little something from something else and create your own.
Yeah.
That's it's definitely crazy.
Most folks are not going to say that. Most folks are not going to.
Everything's recycled.
I'm about to say, most folks are not going to say that because innately built in the position of influencer or influence is a level of narcissism. It just comes with the territory. We're on every thumbnail. We're part of every title. Our name is the actual channels. It's built in the foundation of it to a certain degree. I think that we have a responsibility and awareness to see when it becomes unhealthy, to see when it becomes weighed in the wrong direction. But I think that's also something too, is that I'm not trying to create a bunch of Curtis Kings. I hope that my, I hope that my freedom in my creation process, my enjoyment in trying new things, even if I don't know what I'm doing, influences somebody else to say, you know what, I'm going to buy this instrument off of Amazon. I'm just going to try it just because I feel like I'm better at this than Curtis King. I hope you do that. That makes me more excited than getting all your viewership, right? I enjoy the viewership. I appreciate the engagement. But if you're always here and you're not getting the message of ways to be productive and to grow in your career, I feel like to a certain degree, I've either failed you or you're not being honest about what you want to do. And if this is a hobby, I love to be a part of the enjoyment of somebody's hobby. That's not a problem to me, right? But I think it's important for us to identify that for sure.
No doubt about that, man.
Well,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. You want to expound upon it?
All right, I'm not trying to hijack the conversation here,
good.
And I forgot where I was coming from with this, but it's not just that. It's just I think people want to be like a totalitarianist in a situation, and what I mean by that is, like you said, a troll is full control, right? And so they want to build this branch, but what's another way of doing it? By destroying your competition. Just like somebody that we all know very well that's kind of doing the same thing on people that we admire. So, you know, it's just the ins and outs of the internet, how that works in general. People have an inner reflectance on it, like as if they're not good enough. And so another thing is the process, which is I think what brought me to your channel from the very beginning was flocation, getting into a state of free, you know, mindedness and being able to just flow with it, man. No judgment, you know. So that's pretty much it, man. Other than that, I love hearing everyone else's outputs on it. I put it all together, you know, and I take it all with a grain of salt. So
super dope. All right, well, Blake, it's good to hear from you. We appreciate your honest input, and man, we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, bro. Super dope. Super dope. All right, so let me go ahead and bring HGC into the building. HGC, the youngest OG I know. The youngest OG I know, my guy, HGC. What's the deal, man? How you doing, bro?
Yo, I had to mute the YouTube stream. Hold on.
Come on, man. I feel like I ain't seen you in like 44 years, and you wasn't even around. It's crazy.
Yo, can you hear me? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly, bro. How you been, man?
All right, cool. I couldn't see the highlight on my end. What's good, man? Good. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. How has life been for you, bro?
Man, busy.
Yeah. Good.
Busy, bro. I've been, this year's been a little challenging for me, school-wise, but that's where I've been, just trying to make sure that's under wraps. I'm doing that. I got, the NFT thing I'm still doing with Eldre.
Nice.
And then with the, just managing the Discord server, stuff like that.
Yeah, so you stay and then on top of that, you have the nerve to have a life outside of that too, right? So
yeah, I do my best.
Well, shout out
to touch grass.
Man, shout out to you, bro, doing some amazing things. I'm always excited to hear where the music is at and all that good stuff. But today's conversation, bro, you bring a very unique perspective. How old are you again, bro?
17 now.
17. I don't know what it's like to be a 17-year-old producer in 2022, 2023. And I imagine the distractions are more abundant than they've probably ever been. My biggest distraction 100%. Was MTV Music Generator on a PlayStation 1 that couldn't connect to the internet. That's not that bad. My distraction was girls that was at my high school that I used to get the number from. And I was like, is she gonna call? Am I gonna call?
Not me.
Yeah, it's a different world now, bro. So with that being said, like, what is the biggest distraction for you as a 17-year-old music producer? What is the biggest distractions for you currently, man?
I'll be real with you. Me personally, like, I have two answers to this. One, I can always, the easy answer is, the video games, the, people who have sports, stuff like that. You kind of split yourself up into multiple partitions where it's like, you want to have a life, like you mentioned it, you want to have a life outside of the music. You want to have a life outside of the internet. And I think it's very helpful to do that. But at the same time, you have to identify what your goals are.
Right.
You have to identify like where you want to take it. And like, you can see people, working towards their goal. At the same time, you're out at a party or something, like you could be putting in work, but you're not, while you're resting, someone else is working.
Yeah. So that's for you. What about for your peers? Because I'm sure you see a lot of folks that are not like, that was one thing that struck me when I first met you years ago. I was like, bro, if I had your focus at your age, I would be light years ahead of where I'm at today. It was something I always thought was supremely dope. It shows you just the importance of having a great foundation. But I'm sure you look at your peers sometimes and you're like, bro, y'all just don't get it. Like, y'all don't get it. The fact that you're in the NFTs.
You have no idea.
If you and I were friends, like if you and I were friends back in the same age and like you tell me about NFTs, I'd be like, NFTs, bro, do you want some pizza bagels or not? Like, what are we talking about right now? Like, no disrespect. I'm just saying, like, that was my mindset.
That is what it is. They don't get it. And so, it's tough.
Yeah. So what is their biggest distraction, you think?
Getting caught in the short term. That, and I preach this, getting caught in the short term, because it's so easy to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
For most of them. It's so easy to clump up and be like, just do stuff for the sake of doing it, like not have a common goal, don't have, like, you're just doing stuff.
Right.
You know, I think it's a lack of focus, like you just said with me, and I appreciate that so much. Yeah, like you don't even know. Like I appreciate those words, but they don't know what they want to do. You know, they get caught up in things that don't really matter long term.
Yeah.
You know, like the partying, the drinking, all that stuff.
Bro, who embedded that in you at an early stage?
Oh, my mom, bro.
Yeah,
My mom.
shout out to moms, bro.
Shout out to my mom, bro. Shout out to my mom. Like that's all her. That is all her, and you know the rest of my family as well. But shout out to my mom for real, for real.
What kind of things could you give, like gems from moms, that would be helpful to somebody who is kind of stuck in the middle, bro? Like somebody who is same age as you, 17, and they're like, I don't want to let life pass me by because I only get one prom, or I only get, one, I'm in this space right now, but also they feel like I'm in a very rare time where I can do so much more at 17 than I could ever do as a 17-year-old. What would be like a gem that you could pass to them from moms that could help them get some perspective?
I guess think about why God has put you here. That's what she reminds me of. She reminds me that I have a purpose here. She reminds me that nobody's a mistake.
Right.
You feel me? You're not here by accident. And what I do with that is I take that and I'm like, okay, if I'm here for, God willing, 85 years, what am I going to do in that time frame to make other people know that I existed, that I matter, that I did something?
Is that heavy on you sometimes? Because that's a lot. That sounds like a burden, bro. Is it heavy on you?
Sometimes, but what I do to manage it, you can't really manage it because that is a big calling,
Right.
Like saying that God put you here,
right?
And now you got to do something like that's huge. But what I do with it is I take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
I do my best to take it one day at a time. Sometimes I get caught up thinking about the future, but that's ultimately out of my control. I only try to focus on the things that I can control,
bro.
That's what I mean, and that's a work in progress. But that's really how I approach it.
Man, everybody,
because that is a big task, like you said.
Yeah, everybody in here giving monstrous props, bro, because they see the same thing that I see with you. First time we jumped into any kind of set.
I can't see the chat.
Yeah. I you know what? I'm gonna pop some of these up here on the screen. So this is from Classic Hank. This young man is going places. Very impressive. Never give up, young man.
I appreciate that.
Bald Man 5K says, shout out mentally and emotionally healthy moms everywhere. Yeah, that's so supremely important. This young man's parents must be proud as hell. Shout out to this young man. I saw you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you always been like, first time I met you, you've always been an old soul in a young body, bro. Like, I talk to you and I'm like, I forget sometimes. Even the way that you would pick up techniques in some of my courses, like when you took the was it the music producer power course?
Yeah, it was the flow. Yeah,
the flow state course, bro. I was like showing you things, and you came back like, "You mean this?" I was like, "How did you pick it up so fast?" I was like, "I just picked that up." I love it, bro.
YouTube is a hell of a gym, bro.
It is.
That's really what it is.
Last question I got for you on that, bro. Since you are somebody that, like, if y'all don't know, this is my plug. Like, he keeps me in the loop of like, yo, Curtis, have you seen this plugin? Did you know this plugin got to update? You're the reason I updated Keyscape, because I'm not always in the know. Like, I'm always in content mode for the things that I'm already familiar with. And you gave me, and I'm like, okay, so what's up, man? And you went and had a life and forgot about, Uncle Kurt. And, you know what I'm saying? And, but now you back. I'm
coming back.
Okay. No, I ain't trying to get in the way of your life, bro. I'm just playing with you. But
y'all got it.
That's one thing I think is supremely fire, is that you have never let that stop anything that you have going on. And I'm looking and I'm like, bro, you're the type of people that when I get folks around my age that are like, man, you spend too much time trying to like help the youth, or you're trying like they're have you seen these TikToks? Like, they're a lost cause and and I'm like, they're not all the same, because we weren't all the same. And every once in a while you'll meet folks like HGC, who's you're a rarity all in itself, but I know that there's so many folks who are on the cusp of being able to like really activate right now and get a head start on what takes some people to their 30s in order to activate. So,
but you know what's crazy, and I appreciate that, bro. I really do. And you've been a blessing to me, man. Like, just being in my life. Like, if you really think about it, Y'all have celebrated 3 birthdays with me.
That's wild, bro.
Y'all
That's
celebrated
crazy.
3. I've been here. I've been watching you since I was 14.
That's crazy,
I've been watching you since I was 14 with the streams and everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but when you started adding mods to the chat, I was 15.
That's wild. That's wild.
And it just kept going. You know, I'm here to stay, bro. But so I just want to let you know that like you've been a blessing to me, like in so many ways, and I appreciate that.
Man, likewise, bro.
But to the TikTok thing, like I feel like those type of things surface and gain traction as easily as they do because that's what the people want to see, or at least people my age, the majority. It's easier to gravitate towards that. It's harder to actually do something in life.
That's a great point.
Do something meaningful at least,
bro. And I'll be honest with you, like you would think it changes the older you get, like that dynamic of, okay, these folks are just younger and they're gonna be like this right now because they're in their young phases and they got to go through their drama or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you start meeting folks closer to your age, and then you start meeting folks older, which I've been meeting a lot of folks over the last few months, and I'm like, damn, not a whole lot is shifting. Like some people, you know, because I know you're gonna appreciate this because you're a PC head, or at least you know what I'm saying. You understand the building. Like it makes me feel like human beings just have a specific type of motherboard. They get
100%.
updates. They get updates. They get upgrades on the gaming. You know the what is it the
GPU.
The GPU. They get all these upgrades. The light. They get the LED lights to make it look prettier and all that. That might be close.
Yeah, I got my PC right here.
But fam, the motherboard is the motherboard, bro. And it just makes you look at it like this all really is mindset. I'm gonna share some things with you too, bro. I'm gonna send you some links of stuff that I wish somebody would have sent me at this stage. But bro, shout out to your mom, shout out to the Solid Foundation, shout out to all the inspiration you're giving so many folks your age and older, bro. So man, salute.
Man, thank you so much, bro. I don't want to take up too much time.
You ain't taking up no time, bro. You know, yeah.
Yeah, man. I really like this segment, by the way. Just bringing people up to chat, man. I like this. I like this a lot.
I got a channel full of nothing but videos with my head ass. Like, it's time to change that. It's time to bring the community in here more often to have these conversations because we'll figure it out. We'll probably have like a segment that's like give me some gems. Like give me like return me some gems. Give me some gems. And you've already done that already today, bro. So salute, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Hey, shout out to the chat. I'm gonna go read the chat, man. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for the love, man.
Man, you already know, bro. All right, get at you.
Peace, man.
Peace. All right, so yeah, so that's super dope. That's super dope. I'm hoping that this gives some perspective. I'm gonna leave this open for probably another 15 minutes. Nobody's in there right now, so if you want to jump in here and you want to have a conversation and you want to give your perspective on the topic at hand, by all means, you're invited. Yeah, you're invited. I like these conversations, not just because the topic is different, not because it's something that is, you know, I love content that breaks the monotony. I love content that breaks the monotony. I love what I call matrix cracking content. I love that stuff. I love stuff where I watch it and I can't predict how it's going to end. I love music like that, where it's like, yo. I mean, that's why I love Courtney's beat tape so much. Go ahead and shout out HUC. Because it's like there's so many things in there where I think I know where it's going, and it's like I have no idea. That excites me. In a world where the love you too, Jay Stu. In a world where you can go watch a horror movie and know exactly where the jump scares are going to happen. In a world where every movie is so damn predictable, it makes movies like Nope or Get Out or Us so enjoyable for me, at least, because it feels like something new. Whether you like it or not, there's not a whole lot of movies you can compare it to. And if you do, you got to compare it to a combination of like Alfred Hitchcock and you know what I'm saying, Spike Lee, and it's just, you have to create a new combination. I love that kind of stuff. This kind of conversation, I feel like really, really breaks the monotony. How many videos are we going to make where Music producer reacts to this. And I'm not dissing anybody. Music producer does this. Music producer. It's the same thing over and over again. To the point where I understand that there's a value in entertainment. I get that. I've been part of that entertainment. That is a fun place to be. Everything doesn't have to be so serious. For real. But I do feel like if we're always going in circles, how do we ever get to our destination? If you take your bicycle and you put it on its side and you start riding the pedals, where are you going to go? And I feel like that's what entertainment does. Entertainment's a good rest. You put your bicycle on the side and you start, running your legs. You're not exerting too much energy because you're not going nowhere. You're just kind of like enjoying where you're at. But I think it's important to do things that break the monotony, that break the matrix of things. So shout out to y'all for being involved in this. That link is still active, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it in here again. And you don't have to show video. If you want to just do audio, by all means, do audio. Us was great. I agree. Constant inspiration and not enough motivation is the biggest distraction, in my humble opinion. Constant inspiration and not enough motivation. How do you decipher the difference between motivation and inspiration? I'm very curious about this one because I think everybody has a different definition when they hear motivation and inspiration. How do you decipher the difference? Before I answer that one. The fact that you've been releasing different forms of content and have been reaching out to your followers has definitely helped both of us and the channel. I noticed a sub gain. I'm just at a place where I enjoy everything that I'm doing. I genuinely enjoy it. It may be random. It may be really hard to follow for some people. I genuinely enjoy what we do. Every piece of content we do, there's a level of enjoyment. It's like a photo on a photo album. I love this stuff, bro. That's why I'm here with you on Halloween. I genuinely love this. I've also been debating this, and you guys tell me what you think. I've been debating on making this channel 90% live stream, 10% produce videos for the next year. What do you think of that? Okay, so we got an answer from Bald Man. He's kind of clearing this up. He says, the constant inspiration, but I finish something, I get inspired and start something new 90% always. Maybe 80%, 20. I think that's fair. That's fair. I have so many things, but I never. And when I say live stream, it's not going to be like Flocation and just the critiques. I mean, literally, it's going to be stuff like this where we'll take a topic and we all get in here and chime in. I love this format, though. I love this format. I love your put together videos. I love putting them together. It's just that 20 hours sometimes that the editing takes ain't always fun. That'd be dope. Stream base. I love this too. Yeah, I'm just a long format junkie. Long video format junkie. So in response to what Baldman said, Baldman 5K, you made a clarification on here, but you were basically saying you think the biggest distraction. I would love for you to jump into Zoom so we can like hear from you. And like I said, you don't have to connect. Don't be weird. Y'all ain't gotta be. Don't be nervous. I know you probably win your Halloween thing. I get it. Yeah, we gonna for sure have location. That ain't never changing. Have you thought about outsourcing the editing? Yeah, we need more capital. I'm gonna pay somebody, but we need more capital. So yeah, that's what's happening. It's gonna happen. We just need more capital. And I don't want to just hire any guy, any woman. I just don't want to hire some guy who can edit. You got to edit better than me. And we got to bring back the worst beat battles. I don't know how I feel about that. That's been chewed up and took from. And I don't like the energy that happens when that happens. So we'll figure it out. It was kind of fun bringing Sus Bunny back out for the beat critiques today. Ooh, Isaac, you're out of pocket. Ooh, you're not out of pocket, but what's up? What's going on? Isaac, is it the Isaac? I think it is. Isaac G, I think it is. It's my guy, Isaac. I feel like, for real, I feel like a 90s radio host right now. Isaac, it's the man. It's the myth. It's the legend. It's the legend. It's that guy. What are we talking about? Talk to us. What's nice.
How you
Talk
doing?
to us nice. I'm good, sir. How are you doing? Happy Halloween to you and the family.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, man, we're doing better, man. After we had that convo last time.
Yeah.
We end up all getting sick, but we all finally gotten better this week. But yeah, man, can't complain.
Man, I mean, you could, but you choosing not to, and I think that's the biggest pivot. So, man, shout out to you. I'm always grateful for you, man. Like not just because you sent me all of these. Like some of my favorite beats from 2021 had your guitar in them, and I didn't realize how many it was, bro. I didn't realize how many it was until I went and looked in the stems, and I was like, oh. That's Isaac. That's Isaac. That's Isaac. That's Aaron Barber. That's Isaac. That's Aaron Barber. It's Isaac. That was just a great combination. So salute to you. Hats off, man.
I feel like that time too, man. It was just feeding off of like each other creatively because there's I can't do that with everybody.
Really,
I've definitely had my share of collabs with a lot of people, but I don't know, man. It goes back to what you said before about that chemistry and that relationship outside of the music. I make it work regardless. If it's someone working with or collabing, but there's like certain times like during like the flocation, I just like genuinely enjoy it. It's like I'll get home from work or after I spend time with the family, I'm like, give me about half an hour just to like chill and watch Kurt cook up. Man. And I just, guitars would be right there. I just grab it. I'm like, man, I can't help but pick it up or do something,
Bro,
it's just that spark of inspiration that that I always seek to help people, just make them want to like create, and I feel like that was the biggest thing like that helped me a lot last year was like just hearing this or the expression of yourself, what you did with your music and like you not limiting yourself, like no limitations and just kind of just being free with it. And it just made me like want to, contribute, you know what I mean? Cause it made me want to be free with it and just like,
and that
finally somebody is not, labeling or doing, genre bending and
we doing everything we doing whatever you give me a sound, we gonna make something out of it. And that's something that I hope that I never lose that. When I lose that, I might stop making music. I need to forever feel like making a beat is a playground that has an endless amount of toys and access to. I can reshape like basically beat making is the metaverse for me. Like I can make my own universe within a beat, and I always want it to be like that. But that being said, bro, go ahead.
No, my bad.
You good.
I was just saying that like the fact that you that wouldn't have really came about if you didn't, make the decisions you've made with opening your platform, making the courses you've made, just introducing yourself into a wide audience of just, creatives and like-minded people that has created a community of just amazing people and amazing talented people and just very wise people that are all ages.
You seeing it today? You see with these Zoom calls. You seeing like this makes me so proud of the community that we've built because there's times you gotta. I mean, just people in general. We've talked about this. When you're a content creator, it's hard not to take everything personally. Sometimes, right? Not because like you're being supremely, maybe it's a little bit emotional, who knows? But the duality of it is this: as much as we say views and all of that doesn't matter, we spend a lot of time hoping that the most amount of eyes within our audience sees and appreciates what we do. So when you see that shift, when you see that change, it makes you question about whether or not you're still connected with your folks. It makes you question a lot of things about yourself and your craft, but it's those moments like when you were part of the music producer power course. And I want to make sure I ask you this question. I promise it's not a paid for testimony or nothing like that. No. It's starting to feel like that, but it's not that. This is just genuine conversation from a genuine individual. But I think what's super dope is that when you went to my music producer power course and we did the coaching program in there, when we still had that, you were somebody that could just run through the guitar and it was just something mad. But there were blocks that occurred because of the limitations you put on your own craft. And it just took you didn't need me, but it just took a voice, could have been any voice, I feel like, that just told you, like, man, what would happen if you just let that run free? What would happen if you didn't have limitations in terms of a loop? And I just feel like the mixture of a few suggestions and a huge community of folks, or not even a huge, it's just a really exclusive and loving community of folks that were part of that program, man. I don't even recognize the Isaac before then, man. It's beautiful to see,
it
bro.
is night and day. Yeah, man, I constantly remind myself of that, you know, every once in a while, because, you know, I still deal with that to this day, you know. But I know how to deal with it now, you know. And I always tell myself that quote that you told me, or your words were just like, you know, you're playing with handcuffs, you know, and, you know, visually that just, it's true. Whenever it was something that simple visually, I just imagined, I was like, man, it is like I am. Like, I'm not allowing myself to break free of my own, you know, whatever it is I'm dealing with mentally or at the time, you know. So, but I found my ways to work around that and to get through that. And that even goes towards just creating music in general. You know, it's just not the playing, you know, the instruments and stuff, but overall, you know what I mean? But thankfully, you know, through, you know, the course and everything and things you've advised and told me, you know, I have my ways to finally get around it. And that's one of the biggest things too, that you know, that I mentioned to you about my computer.
Yeah.
I was saying that since I haven't been able to use it, I've actually been creating more.
How is that even
picking up my just instruments and recording on my phone?
Oh, that's fire. That's dope.
Just playing. I got a little cheap keyboard I got for my kids and just coming up with chord progressions, playing on the guitar, beatboxing.
They're like, Daddy, when can I get my keyboard back?
I'm just like, what's crazy though, man, is just like, you know, when you cut this, going to the distractions, when you cut, you know, there's a lot of things that come in the way when it comes to getting to the final destination of what you're trying to do. And so it can be as even as the tools that you use to create. So, I mean, my computer, like, it was taking forever to turn on. I'll sit there, wait for it to turn on. And after I finally get FL open, and then it would like crash, and then my computer overheating. By the time I get to create, man, I've done lost 10 minutes.
You give me PTSD.
You know, in 10 minutes.
You giving me PTSD. You got some old streams we had here. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's just like, man, the means of me creating is starting to block and be a distraction itself in my creation. And I was like, man, like, you know, forget this, you know. And I was just like, let me just pick up my phone, boom, press record, and just start making melodies, chord progressions, and then the ideas are coming out faster. And it's kind of making me realize the quicker you can dump your ideas out and stop overthinking about, you know, stuff, and just letting it go, just being free and just, you know, creating music. And it's a lot more satisfying. I mean, me personally.
Right. Well,
it's just to get it out and, like, you know, because I mean, man, that frustration of things not working right, programs crashing.
It's a lot,
you know what
man.
I mean? Don't get me wrong, like, that's definitely the tools that we need and we love and stuff. But at the same time, I may realize it's not a huge necessary. I can get the ideas and the music out other ways quickly and still enjoy it. You know what I mean? And they always go back whenever I got it going and got the stuff working right. You know what I mean?
So that's what I'm noticing too recently with doing this Amazon series of
which has been dope, by the way.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. But it's been fun. It's been frustrating at times, like the accordion. If people saw the raw video of how frustrating it was to figure out just one or two progressions that I liked, right? Just like my fingers got tired. I broke the strap on the accordion, but something about having to get physical with music again.
Yeah. You've said in the past, man, it's a physical sport.
It's a physical sport.
How much true it is, man. Like, that's why people dance. That's why we move to music. That's why you do research on your ancestors, man. That's why they had ceremonies where they had huge community-based functions of performing music.
Facts.
And whether it was, you know, celebrations, active worship, whatever, they did it with music, and they used instruments, and they all moved, and it's very beautiful thing. So we got to remember that, even though how, you know, it may seem primitive or not, we're still human, and we
have
still
to do that.
Gotta do stuff like that.
Because when you think about our moments of inspiration drop off, and I want to address that from Ballhead 5K, this idea that where our obsession over inspiration and motivation, our verses is the reason why we can't stay focused. If anything, I feel like inspiration and motivation are both cheap terms. They're both cheap terms. We need them. It's almost like how some of us need coffee, right? As much as we may down the side effects of coffee and how long term it could do this, some of us just that's our vice, our choice, right? Yeah. Some people it's energy drinks, and not saying it's the healthies, but that's what it is. Some people it's working out. But those are the things that we have that we need for ourselves. And I think it's the same thing with creatives. We want to find sources of other creativity that inspire things within us. The only issue with that is it is relying upon our emotions being connected to that content, and emotions are fleeting. Emotions are ever changing. Today you may feel like, damn, I can't wait to go cook up, and then 15 minutes later, a crash on FL Studio, a phone call from work, a text message from somebody you don't want to talk to, annoying the hell out of you, like, or an email from a customer that's complaining about a product, and all of a sudden it just like, where's that inspiration? It's cheap. It's synthetic. So that's where it's important to always do things that remind you of your why and your purpose. But I'm interested in this, bro. You have a perspective that's very unique in that you provide music for other producers, for other artists. You have been brought in as a studio musician. We've done work together, obviously, on Flocation. You get a vantage point of going into your real life family dynamic, job dynamic, and then coming back into this arena and seeing how the community is at large. In your opinion, from your vantage point, because I can tell you're a very observant human being. I can tell that from all the time hours I spent with you.
Yeah.
What do you observe from rappers and music producers, maybe more so music producers, that you think is the biggest distraction for them?
Man, thinking they need, well, there's a few, but one that comes to mind instantly is like thinking they need so many external things in order to create. You know what I mean? Just, like, I mean, it could be as simple as like, oh, I need my mic. Like, I'm not going to do this verse. You know what I mean? Or I need the environment right. You need to set the vibe. Like I need
a brew. There's a lot of rappers like that. Rappers like I need my weed, or I need my brew. I need this.
I need my drink. Like you know what I mean? It's just like you don't need that. You mentally you may, or like you went like going back to the coffee thing. Some people may, you know what I mean? But there is a way to get out of that and it kind of stop relying on external vices and things in order to make you think that you need that to create. In reality, you don't. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're making excuses. You know what I mean?
Which once again brings me back to this topic. Could the biggest distraction be that people have not established that they're hobbyists in this, or have not established that they're more so a fan than they are a creator? They create, right? There's a lot of people who dabble in music. There's a lot of people who have GarageBand on their notebook, or the Apple devices. There's a lot of folks who just have it. They just dabble. But because we spend an X amount of money and an X amount of time, we all of a sudden say, no, I'm in the game as well. But it's like, well, if I look at your social media, if I look at the kind of things we talk about, we're always talking about people who are not in our independent space. And even in that regard, say we just flipped the switch and we stopped talking about celebrities and we talked about just other independent artists, that's still a problem too.
Yeah.
It's our obsession with what other people are doing, right? So what is your thoughts on that, though, in terms of like the celebrity dynamic, the obsession that people have with other people's business and not their own business? That's a sick one for me, bro. Man.
Yeah, man, it's you'd be surprised that even how even like well-minded you may think you are, you can get caught up in that. You know what I mean? It's Man, I was crazy because I was talking. I had this conversation with a good friend of mine, talking about this about music. Well, I have a hobby of like, because this is the actual like a hobby that I like to do is like me and a buddy of mine. We like to listen to albums,
Yeah.
especially new ones that drop, and then we'll just talk about it. You know what I mean? Same thing like reaction or like stuff you go watch YouTube videos, but we do that within ourselves because I respect his view. He's a
Right.
musician, and and then I've known him for a long time, and vice versa. So 5 albums would drop one week and we're just like, all right, we'll spend some time listening to this. You know what I mean? But I just, man, it just, like, it's crazy because I feel like things are just moving so fast. It's just so fast. And, just, everybody gets so caught up in what everybody's doing. And it's like, before you know it, man, you spend so much time doing that. Your life is fading, man, because life is going so fast and you're wasting it caring about someone who don't even know who you are.
And
someone that you're probably never going to meet.
Facts.
And even if you do, they won't even give you the respect that you think you might get, or you know what I mean?
It's going to mean
like
more to you than it's going to mean to them.
Exactly. And it's just like, I've had those experiences in the past and made me realize, man, we're all human beings, man. Like some people are more fortunate than others. Some people, you care more about financial things than they actually do the music. There's so many views about it and experiences about it, but ultimately, man, it has to go back to, are you living your life?
Mm-hmm.
Are you focused on your own life? You know what I mean? Because it can waste a lot of time, man, and it's a huge distraction. And so that's back to what I was saying. It's just like things are moving so fast now. Because I mean, obviously we're the same in age, and we remember a time where things were like, when we did things, it was so focused on that. Because we didn't have other distractions.
Yeah, it wasn't the world that we're in now right now, bro. Yeah. It just wasn't that.
It's like people ask like, well, how do I do this and this? Like if I want to get good on the guitar, I'm like, you need to focus on it.
How about playing the guitar?
How about you put that phone down? How about you get off social media? How about you stop binge watching your series? How about you, not saying don't enjoy life, because you can do that, but man, you rather spend 10 hours binge watching your favorite show than spend 10 minutes practicing.
Hello. You know said what I mean? My grandfather used to say something to me whenever I was a very impatient child, right? My grandfather said, what you rushing for? He said, every second that passes, every minute that passes is closer to your grave. And I was like, Grandpa, that is a morbid thing to tell a child, but
it's true though, man.
Something about it is it's those old idioms, right, from your grandparents' generation where they'll say things like the early bird gets the worm. And it's like when you're young, you're like, what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah.
But the older you get, you're like, you know what? No, this is facts. This is facts.
Especially if your schedule is booked, man. Like I know you got a busy schedule, and we got families. I work 2 jobs, and I do my music, and it's just like you had to, it's not like really a choice. You got to cut a lot of that extra time out to make time for what's important, or what you view as important. And when it comes to like getting all the drama of other people's lives and celebrities and like all this stuff, like I don't care, man. It's like, man, look, I might hear about it from someone, I might see a post, but then I'm like, yo, let's get back to what I'm doing, like, because I'm having fun right now with my family. I'm out of town, like right now in the wilderness, playing my guitar next to the lake and eating some food, and I'm enjoying life. You know what I mean? Like I could care less who did this drama with this person and that person. I'm like, nah, man, come on.
Kim Kardashian ain't finna put no groceries in my refrigerator.
Exactly,
I gotta be on my business. And folks will ask you stuff like, oh, did you see this? What you mean did I see this? You not like, but I think a lot of this also, and I want to go ahead and talk to some other folks too. I love being able to chop it up, which is remind me, because I had to remind myself that I'm on a live stream and we're not on a phone call, because you and I can go for hours.
Well, you know how that goes.
But also, I think another added wrinkle to this is the fact that this is what society does too. Society does it to where they make you feel like what you're doing independently is insignificant. I never forget, I had a family member one time that watched the Grammys with me, and they were watching Outkast. Outkast, one of my favorite groups of all time. 3 Stacks, he's my favorite rapper of all time, right?
Yep,
and he was having a legendary performance. And the family member was like, see, that's real music right there. Ain't that what you want to do? And I'm just like, so you may not be saying it, but you're kind of suggesting it on a subconscious level that what I'm doing is not of any significance compared to what I'm seeing on the TV. And that's where I think it's dangerous, in that we'll live our entire careers feeling like failures to a certain degree if we don't reach the level of what society views the Grammy Awards, what society views. And it's like, what if society, the same society that is being sold things on a regular basis, what if they got it wrong? What if, just what if, since we always talk about the masses and herd mentality, what if them being obsessed with celebrity culture and celebrity award shows, what if that's a part of the business plan? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if your obsession with what somebody said on TMZ is a part of the business plan? The more you stay obsessed with it, why would you want to? Yeah. Why would you want to work on your own life if you have enough distractions to talk about that are going on in somebody else's life? Like, I shouldn't, like, there's certain things that I look at on the tabloids. I'm like, so and so has a child outside their marriage, and this is for the 15th time, and I'm like, why do I need to know that? You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah, man, it's interesting. It's kind of scary, man, how people live their life through others, and it's unfortunate. It's sad, but I mean, you know, all you can do is just like people like yourself, man, just have these platforms that, you know, touch bases on it and kind of, you know, like you said, like wake them up from the matrix, man.
Let's
like,
shake up.
Hey,
let's shake it up. I'm not even trying to wake nobody up. I'm not even trying to disturb nobody's sleep. All I want to do is
just think about it.
Just let's just say the things that are not being said, so that people think the things that they're not thinking, or maybe they're clearing the lens in front of them. Because I don't think our journey is all about obtaining as much information from other people. I think our journey is hearing perspectives that clear the lens in front of us. I think a lot of our pursuit, and I've talked about this with you in great detail, is that we're knocking on doors, trying to get in, trying to wonder why we can't get in this door in our music industry, our music career, knocking on this door, trying to work with this person, knocking on this door. And we go our entire lives, and then one day we recognize the reason why nobody's opening up the door is because we're knocking from the inside.
Yeah.
We're already in the place that has everything we could ever need to have an abundant life, to have a successful life. What is the inside? It is your mindset. What is the inside? It's your perspective. Somebody looks out the window and says, damn, it's raining. It's a terrible day. Another person looks out the window and says, damn, it's finally raining. Now my garden will grow.
Yep.
It's perspective. It's perspective. So I think that's a huge part of it, but I think that we got to have these conversations, bro. You know, I appreciate you, man. I love you like a brother, man.
I appreciate you, man.
I hope y'all get well, bro. We need you 100%, man. We need you and the family 100%, man. All right.
Yeah. We definitely getting better, man. I appreciate you too, you know, and I definitely look forward, like I said, doing the more lives and stuff like that. Yeah. This is awesome, man, you know. But love to the chat as always in the community, man. And you have a good one. I'll catch you in the chat.
Likewise. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Isaac,
Peace.
Lazy Eye Music. Oh, man. Round of applause for him. All right. Ballman 5K. I'm bringing you in here real quick now. Ballman 5K. And then we got Lawrence Reed coming in after that. Ballman 5K. DJ Clean. Talk to me. You said something really interesting I want to make sure I highlight, and I think it's always good to get perspective. Can you hear me? What's going on?
Yeah, sure can. Can you hear me?
Good. How you doing, first and foremost?
Not bad, man. Not bad. How you doing?
Good. Tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do.
So, I'm a big fan of all your content online.
Appreciate that.
First of all, I just wanted to say, I love your videos, man. Like, the one where you had the 5 things you would say to your younger self.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Excuse me. You have no idea how much that helped me.
I appreciate that.
Bawling like a baby. Like it helped so much, and it kept me going. But I'm in Central Texas area, and I started producing back in the early 2000s, right out of high school, actually, to age myself.
What was your DAW? You know, I like to ask that question. What was your first DAW you worked on?
Cubase, actually.
Cubase.
It was Cubase 1.5 and Cubase 3, I think, just came out whenever I started, and it was interesting to say the least. But I didn't learn enough of it. I just thought I knew it all. I started recording, started doing some shows, you know, some hip hop and whatnot. And then I just kind of fell off, stopped doing music, got into a huge fishing career. And once that pandemic hit, I was like, you know what?
Man, let's re-spark this. Let's see what's going on with it.
Let's see what's going on. And I followed a DJ from Reddit over to Twitch, saw that, you know, people were streaming on Twitch with music. And, you know, I did Dat Son's sample flip challenge, and it just sparked a whole bunch.
Don't you love when that happens? Don't you love when that happens, bro? Don't you love when it takes just that one domino to fall over? And when we try to we try to predict how it's going to happen. Like I know what it feels like to not be working on music and to be thinking about music. Sometimes it can be torture. It can be absolute torture. And we're trying to predict how it's going to happen. Like maybe I'll work on one beat and it'll build momentum into another one. Maybe I got to work on 50 beats, whatever the case may be. But when the first domino actually falls, bro, that is the greatest release of dopamine that you could ever experience, right?
It was like I felt like I lived under a rock for 10 years, you know, and there was just so many bright lights and colors and, you know, just new stuff and new software, new plugins, new everything. And I fell victim to all of that. Man. I was just like, I'm going to sign up for this and try that and try this. And super dope. And then I just got way overwhelmed, you know?
Yeah. That's also something that is a character of this time, bro. Yeah.
Crazy, man. And then, you know, but I kind of dialed it in, found my little niche. And now it's like, what I mean by the inspiration thing was that I get inspired. I mean, just off of anything, like, oh, you know what, this would sound good if I did this and that and mixed with this and that, and, you know, let's do that. Yeah. And I'll start something new, and then I'll start working on that for a little while, for a couple of days maybe, and I'll be like, oh, you know what, I think this would be cool, let's do this, let's do that, and I'll start something new. Right. And I'll never go back and finish those other ones. You know what I'm saying?
See, and this is why I'm with you when we talk about, you say inspiration is not enough. I was more so curious, and I think you might have corrected this, but I was more so curious of how you decipher the difference between inspiration and motivation. I got one of your comments here pinned before you made the changes to it, that said you think the biggest distraction for artists and producers is constant inspiration and not enough motivation is the biggest distraction. Yeah. So you know, I want to hear from you, like kind of even with the correction. How do you view the difference really between inspiration and motivation, and why folks don't have enough of that?
You know, I think it's real easy to get inspired. I mean, I say it's real easy, but it's probably different for everybody. But I think it's real easy to get inspired. Mm-hmm. It's not easy to keep the motivation to follow through with that inspiration, to take that inspiration and turn it into art. And actually turn it into a finished piece of art. But is it really ever finished, you know? But that's different, you know? But yeah, just the motivation part. I think I kind of, what I was meaning by that was like the focus. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you can get inspired all day, but if you don't have the focus to follow through on that inspiration, or I mean, you could chalk it up to motivation, you know, if you're not motivated enough to finish that inspiration, then it's just gonna, you know, you're done, and you're just gonna move on to the next thing, and all your stuff's gonna sit at 90%. I'm a huge member. I might even be the president of the 90% club. I mean, it's crazy.
So the president of the 90% club. Oh man.
I mean, I'm talking like probably 75 to 100 projects that I've started that I just never finished, and now I'm actually taking the time now to prioritize them, go back. Good. And with, you know, even with the help of some of your videos too, I'm actually going back and getting focused and staying focused, you know, Pomodoro technique if I have to, whatever it has to be. I got to get it done.
I got to make a video. Thank you for the reminder. I have to make another video on that, because that, for those who don't know, the Pomodoro technique goes as such, where it's basically short intervals of time in which it seems like you're not going to get a whole lot of work done. But when you do this technique over the span of 4 hours, you'll actually get the equivalent of 8 hours of worth of work done. And here's how it goes. You do 15 minutes of focused work. You turn your phone off. You only focus on the work in front of you and what you are doing. You turn the phone off. Use it as a timer. Have the timer go off. But you must work 15 minutes of focused time. Maybe you're making a beat. Give it that. After that 15 minutes is up, you then reset your timer to 3 minutes, and then you walk out of the room. you can type in Pomodoro. I can't even tell you how to spell it right now. I'm not gonna be honest with you. Go to Google. They'll fix it for you. That's what I usually do. Yeah. But the next part of that is you come back and do another 15 minutes. And one thing I got to say about that 3-minute break is that you must leave the room. Don't stay in the room where you're creating, because it's going to defeat the purpose of the actual break. Go outside, do what you do. Like, if you want to check social media, do that, but take an actual break. Then come back for another 15. Then take another 3-minute break, and then you take then you do another 15, and I believe you take a 30-minute break after that. You eat lunch, you enjoy it, and come back. This is the most frustrating thing to do in the very beginning, because nobody wants to take a break when they're making a beat 15 minutes into it, because you're probably only going to get kicks and snares done, right?
It's so hard.
It's so hard. The first time somebody did it was in a studio session. I was like, you're not allowing me to be great, fam. Like, this is not fair. But the truth of the matter was, it was a self-limiting belief, and if you do it and you stay consistent, this is the reason why I was able to finish my book in its last month due when I had to send it off to the publisher. I used the Pomodoro technique the entire day, and I'm telling you, I got about 8 hours worth of work done in 4 hours. Why is 4 hours so important? Because your brain becomes mush after 4 hours.
Yeah.
Your ears become trash, right? There's a lot of things that happen with mixing where your ears get that fatigue, but you're saying that you were operating on that. That's super dope. So I guess this is why I'm so glad that we're able to talk, because text can be interpreted in different ways. What I'm getting from this, and you tell me how much it aligns with what you're saying. You're saying that inspiration is the fuel and motivation is the engine.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
That's okay. Now I get that.
Yeah. And I would say, and that's kind of why I put them both together, like as a distraction, because if you don't use the vehicle in which both of those are in correctly, if you get in the back seat, you're not going anywhere. You know?
Full tank engine revved up and nobody pushing the gas.
Exactly. I mean,
that's a great analogy,
it's crazy.
man.
It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's now to the point where, and I even had to take a step back from a lot of things. I mean, life has hit me in the chest in the past year or so, and that does have a lot to contribute to it, but I have pushed past most of that so far. And it's just like, I mean, I'm sitting there, watching something or, whatever, or like you said in the past in one of your videos, don't check your email. Oh God, don't check my email. Oh my God. That's literally the biggest distractor. Like, it really is. You wouldn't think it is when you hear it, but it is.
It is. People sleep on the fact that an email, especially if you do anything that deals with customer service, an email with the wrong kind of customer or a very detailed oriented customer can very quickly, even a well-meaning email, doesn't even need to be it can be a well-meaning email, can turn into a text message thread so quickly, and then all of a sudden an hour has passed by and all you did was exchange 6 or 7 messages because you had to go find another attachment. Oh, this attachment is the wrong one. Oh, can you send this version with, like, it doesn't matter what line of work you do, emails will be so massively distraction. So
or even in somebody who doesn't work in customer service or anything, or has to deal with that, like even just an email with a new plugin, just like a oh, let me try that out. That looks cool as hell. Let me try that.
Like, why you gotta do this to me now, Arteria? Why you gotta do this now?
You go down a rabbit hole of, and then all of a sudden you're on a sample website and you're downloading free samples, and I mean, it's nonstop, and just email's crazy.
And then you're watching a testimonial that leads you to the social media that leads you into that rabbit hole. And all of a sudden it's like, good gosh. So let me ask you one last question. I really appreciate your time and the input that you're giving, because I think you represent a lot of folks who are within this.
Thank you.
What's your biggest advice for somebody who was at that same stage where they were wishing they were working on more music, they wish they had the more time to work on music? Like, what advice would you give to that person who was at that same crossroads where maybe it's, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a combination of things that have pulled them away from the music, but they really want to get back to it. They just don't know how to start. What advice would you give to them?
I know one of the best pieces of advice, this might not answer the question, but it kind of does. One of the best pieces of advice, is you already said it on this call, was taking a break. Like literally, if you hit a wall, especially like a wall of inspiration, motivation, just creativity, anything. If you hit a wall, even the slightest little wall, take a break and come back to it in 15 minutes. I mean, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15, the next day, whatever it may be, take a break.
Yeah.
Because when you come back, now you're starting at that point. Now that's your base.
That's dope.
And then you build upon that again. And then when you hit a wall, take a break. And then now you come back and you're building upon that now. But if you're trying to get back to it, and you know, like me, I felt like I was living under a rock for so long.
Right.
I mean, I was, it's crazy. But just the simple fact of, I mean, you just have to jump in. Like I dove in head first, and I basically, I don't know, I kind of want to say you have to drown in the sea of lights and colors and all that, but you don't, you know, you really don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it definitely, it made me a better producer. It made me focus more.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably like watch some videos on how to focus, how to like limit your distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave your phone in the other room. That's probably the biggest piece of advice right there.
It's gonna always come back to that damn phone, man. It's gonna always inevitably come back to the phone, like,
yeah,
because the emails are more distracting on the phone than they are on the desktop. You got to have Gmail open on your unless you're connected like through the mail client or whatnot. But on my PC, I don't see emails unless that Gmail window is open. And but my phone loves to tell me no matter what I'm doing important. Doesn't matter.
Oh my gosh,
it will for sure let me know. But man, thank you so much for telling your story, spreading that wisdom. I think a lot of people are seeing themselves in your journey, man. And I just massive salute to you, bro.
Thank you so much. My dog's barking now, but you know, just everybody keep pushing. Much love.
Much love.
Just keep going. Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right, man. You have a good one.
Yeah. Thanks, man. You too.
Super dope. Ballman 5K. I promise you, I love this. I love this. I love this a whole lot more than I even anticipated. I love this. Lawrence Reed. Let's talk to Lawrence Reed for a second. Then we're going to talk to Adanian, and then we're going to call it a night. But I think we've heard many different perspectives saying a lot of the same things, is that we end up getting in our own ways. Lawrence Reed. What's the deal, fam? I can't hear you, unfortunately. Not yet. All I do know is I see a ring light in a gamer chair. I know a content creator or a gamer when I see one.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, Lawrence Reed. How you doing?
Okay, my bad. How's it going, man?
Good. I was mentioning your whenever I see a ring light in a gamer chair, I was like, you either a gamer or a content creator. What we talking about?
I used to be a gamer back in the day, but more so I've been trying to get into the content realm.
Fire.
You know, just trying to show my face more and stuff like that. Just watching your videos, man. Just like to say that you've been like a big inspiration for me since I started producing.
Appreciate that.
I'm actually older. I'm 37.
You my age.
So yeah. And I started watching you. So this pretty much my story. And just for like the younger guys out there.
Hold on just a second, my good. I want to make sure I hear everything you're saying. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, love. Okay. Yeah, my wife. Shout out to my wife. She just brought me some dinner. She knew I've been in here. My apologies. So you were saying that, I want to make sure that I hear everything. You were saying that you have made your way into the space of content creator, and you have been kind of learning the ropes of it. And the video content that you got from me was I guess of some kind of help to what you were doing, and then that's where I kind of ended off on things. So if you could bring me back into your world one more time.
Yeah. So it's like my stories is a little different, you know. I know some people probably have similar stories, but you know, so I started off like being a musician like when I was younger. Then I got into music production when I was about 13, 14, using FL Studio, started playing around with it a lot. And then I would say, because you guys were talking about like distractions.
Yeah.
What really distracted me was just life, man. Like my mom ended up passing away when I was 18. I was like about to graduate high school and stuff like that. And I just, you know, just fear. I would say fear was like a big distraction for me.
Yeah.
Like, because people would tell me like, hey, there's no like future in music. You can't do it. Like, go to school. So
that's people's favorite thing to say, by the way. I feel like all of us have heard some kind of version of that. It blows my mind how much you know what the elephant in the room with that is, though, when people say that? it's usually told by people who've never been in the music industry.
Yeah. And I read your book, man. Your book is very inspirational, man. Like, because you had that people telling you that too, but then you, instead of listening to that, you just said, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to just stick with the music.
Right.
And I wish I had that back then, but but I think everything happens for a reason. Everyone has their own season.
Absolutely.
So I had to go through what I had to go through to be here right now. So I ended up going to college, stopped producing, but I kept being a musician. So I played the piano and stuff like that, and ended up becoming a teacher, and now I'm a principal of a high school.
Whew.
And
Crazy.
now, let's say back in 2018, I got out of like a bad relationship, right? And that's another thing. Like, women could be a curse, a gift, or a curse.
I'm gonna just shut up.
And I would say, like, I lost myself in that relationship.
Yeah.
I lost myself, like, also just my whole life just trying to please people. And then once that relationship ended, I was just like, you know what? Let me just please myself. Let me do something for me. So this is when I came upon your videos, I think back in 2018. It took me like 2 years to get on my feet, right?
Man.
So it was 2018, then 2020 came about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching your videos, I was like saving money, buying up equipment and stuff like that. And then, then I started gradually just, I was like, I want to get back into music production. So I just got everything I needed and just started, and I started watching your videos and stuff like that. And it just really helped me a lot. I think one advice you said, I think I was in the chat like a couple of years ago.
Right.
And I forgot exactly what I asked, but you were just like, man, like the one thing that you regretted was not staying in your lane. Like, you kind of try to please people, like with the music production,
with the beat selling. Beat selling was the worst.
With the beat selling,
the worst decision
selling,
I made.
Yeah. So and then you told me that, and I was like, you know what? Let me just do what makes me happy and stay in the lanes that I want to stay in. And so that's what I've been doing, and I've been loving it, man.
Good.
Like, it's I tell you, man, just your videos do a lot for people, man. So just keep doing what you're doing. And the younger guys out there, like, it's not too late. Like, don't feel like, or even the older guys, like, it's not too late. Just try it.
Well,
especially if you love the music. If you love the music, if this is what you love to do, don't let people distract you. Don't let fear distract you.
Lawrence, I'm sorry, you said because I don't want to cut you off in the middle of that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Because you'll just miss out on your blessing.
Someone said, shout out to Sagara. I don't know why it's not letting me. There we go. It wasn't letting me scroll. But Sagara Production said something I think is really interesting, and we all can relate. It blows my mind that people will listen to and enjoy music every day and still fix their mouths to say that to people in the field.
Right,
like that's
right.
It's a huge irony in that there's no money to be made in music, yet you're funding the very industry that you're saying there's no money to be made there. And then on top of that, we're not even talking about the separation between independent and major label and major, in music industry and whatnot. Which I think, now that I say it out loud, this is how you know I'm a little bit too woke right now. I need to go to sleep. I'm like thinking outside the box. I'm like, who created the term major label and why was it major label? Why not corporate label?
Yeah.
Because that separate. I believe in the power of words, and I feel like you're very much the same. I can hear by the way that you're describing things, like the power of words is so much. Even when I think about the term underground and what that can do for certain people, can empower them to say, yeah, we got this thing that is protected, this thing that is untouched by the mainstream, and this is ours. It's all underground. For somebody else, it's like, what kind of things are underground? Sewage, sewer. Like, they have a whole different mindset when you say underground, right?
Yeah,
that means that you're always going to be under our focus, under our feet. And so I think about these words, I think about major label and all of these things, and I'm like, we never question where the origin comes from. And when you do question it, people look at you crazy. So that's why these conversations I think are supremely important, man, because it just puts us in a weird place where we never, what's up, Flaw TV? We never really advance. We just keep going in these same loops and we keep spilling the same thing. What's ironic about what you said about in 2018 almost gave me goosebumps, bro, because at the time that you saw me making content, I'm not sure exactly what phase you came in. I was getting out of a relationship that took me years to get back on my feet, not just in a physical sense, but like emotionally. And, you know, one of the biggest things that happen after a breakup, anybody can attest, is so much of who you've been has been what you are with this other person. And then you got to rediscover, okay, not only do I have to rediscover who I am, but who's this version of me at this age? So I probably attracted you to the content because I was asking the same questions you probably were asking yourself at that moment. And 2018 was around the same time.
Man, that is crazy, man.
That's when you said that, I was like, I had to put my food down for a second. Like, wait a minute. Like, that's literally what I was going through at the same. When you see videos, like anybody who rewinds back to the Curspirations, where I was doing Curspirations in the park, in my car, that was literally because I was staying with the homie, oh gosh, and I didn't feel comfortable doing these Curspirations in a setting that didn't look like my studio. And he had studio sessions for his studio. So then I went to my car and I shot him. My homie Richie pulled up, went to the park, didn't have a lavalier mic. He was like, you got to get these ideas off. You may even remember there was a series where I did videos from the very home that I moved out of with my ex. And it's an empty room. That's because a breakup was happening.
Man, that is crazy. You know what the crazy thing is, man? When I started watching your videos, I was in an empty house with just like a mattress, man. I just started binge watching everything. Like I became obsessed with just watching videos. And just like I said, it took me I studied for 2 years before I actually started.
So
in 2020,
bro, I think we met each other at the right time, even if we didn't officially meet one another. It all happens for a reason, man. And there's a part of me that felt like, don't go radio silent right now. This is when the content will probably connect with somebody the most, because you're going through something in real time, and there's probably a whole lot of value that could be made from it. So I salute you for even sharing it. It made me want to share kind of what that period was about. But excuse me, I want to bring it home back to this topic of the distractions. And I want to ask you another question after that, but I want to just kind of get, what do you think from yourself, your own experience, and maybe just in general, whatever one you want to talk about, has been the biggest distraction when it comes to music producers and artists who are in our space as independents?
I would say the biggest distraction is just listening to people, listening to what other people think, their opinion, and just being afraid. Those are I think me personally, and I think everyone, people even showing your face on camera. A lot of producers don't like to show their face. And I had to break out of that. I'm still breaking out of that. It's just not being afraid to just put yourself out there. You never know who's watching. You never know who you can meet. Who would know I would be talking to you right now? That's crazy.
Well, let me ask you this: playing devil's advocate, which I'm sure people are gonna play anyways. What if somebody says, "Well, you listened to Curtis King and it ended up being helpful"? What if his advice at one point was a distraction? How would you kind of counter that in that context? Do you make a separation between the two?
I would say use what works for you. So if you listen to somebody and it brings inspiration and motivation, you got to find that somewhere, right? Follow that, follow what your passion is. So my passion is music production. So put yourself around those people, find some mentors, and then take what you can from it. And if it doesn't agree with your spirit, then you don't have to listen to every advice that comes to you, or everything someone says to you.
I love that. Man, and tell us about this glow up, bro. For you to experience so much in early 30s, mid 30s, late 20s, just with everything how does that trajectory land you into a principal spot where you're able to hold it down as a principal at a school, and then also have this career within music where you're now talking about creating content and showing face. Like, what advice would you give to yourself before you even knew this was a possibility? Your younger self.
Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. That's the biggest thing. Like, you can do it, whatever you want to do. I know that sounds like cliche and stuff like that. Like, but that's true.
What specifically would you center that belief into? Because there's a lot of things we can believe, right? We can believe in one thing at a time. But what would be specific for you in terms of that belief?
I'll say find what is your purpose. What are some things that you enjoy doing?
Right.
And then spend your time doing those things. Research it, learn it. Find people that are great in those areas and just go for it.
That's what I say, bro. In this time period, like, bro, folks don't understand that in a time period where literally it's not even an exaggeration to say 90% of people are probably too distracted.
Yeah.
You could literally burn past any competition. You shouldn't even look at other people as competition because
you know what the crazy. I'm sorry, I mean,
you're good. You're good.
Like the crazy thing is, like, I feel like some people just have a drive and some people don't. Like, and like, you know how there's like the top that there's like, music production is like producers is oversaturated. Yeah, it might be oversaturated, but are people driven to do it? Do they have a passion to do it?
Yes.
A lot of people say, like, to make 2-3 beats and say, yeah, I'm a music producer, but are they actually putting that work in? Are you like uploading, like having a consistent schedule? Like with me, for example, because I have a busy schedule, it's just, you can put aside time for anything you want to do in this life. It's just about making a schedule and sticking to it. It's literally that simple. Like, it doesn't matter what you have going on. You could have a family, you could have a whole career, you could be in school. But if you just make a little bit time every day, that's all you really need.
That's so real.
And then you have that little focused time of energy that's focused 100% on that, like you were saying earlier. And then, hey, if that's all the time you have, if you only have 30 minutes during lunch break, that's all you got. But build upon that until you can get more time, and then that's it.
Man,
that's it.
Most folks don't have the audacity to act on the things they say they want to change on. And you can literally, like, that's why, like, worrying about competition to me is one of the most wasteful things that you can do for your energy. I think some people need competition to give them like artificial drive. It's almost like an energy drink. Like, you need somebody to feel like, oh, they're coming for my spot or they want my blessings. But that eventually runs out because it's not real. It's you're running your gas off of Gatorade. Shout out to the movie Idiocracy. Like, and I think a lot of folks never get past that. And when they come to the realization that some people get into this music and they never make it about other people, in terms of, when I started making music, when you started making music, we weren't thinking about the competitor that's 10 years from now. We didn't know who it was. We might have thought about the idea of competition, but we didn't think about anybody specific because it didn't exist in our space. So why is it we fast forward 10 years later, we're in this new space, we're in a YouTube space, we're in a content space, whatever it is, now all of a sudden this person, no. Nobody is your competition because nobody knows your bull more than you do. Right. Like, I am the hardest person for myself to motivate because I know all my tricks. So I have to constantly be bringing new energy into what I'm doing, productive energy that gives me a different perspective. I've been listening to As a Man Thinketh, the audiobook on YouTube. It's an hour-long audiobook. I listen to that. I listen to Earl Nightingale. There's a particular speech that I listen to, and something about it being from like the 30s, I want to say, is so fresh in comparison to what we hear in 2023. It's different quality, all that good stuff. And that's what I need, because if I constantly rely upon just me, my tools need to consistently be sharpened. So I just say that to say that I think that we have so much more power with what we have and what we're doing. And I just think it's important that we're always attached to the why, as you're saying right now. And I think that's one of the most powerful things I keep hearing from you is identifying your why, identifying the purpose behind everything, because ultimately That's why we do it, man. And your only competition is literally staring at you in the mirror. So, bro, I salute you. I'm glad that we had a chance to finally officially meet. I've seen your name in the chat. I look forward to chopping it up with you again in here, man. And where can people find your music, or where can they connect with you?
Hey, just Lawrence Reed Productions everywhere.
Okay.
And I appreciate you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Like, you don't know who you're impacting, man. Like, just keep doing it. Like, you really helped me out a lot. So just keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing, man.
Absolutely, man. I don't know no other way. So I appreciate you, brother.
All right, salute, man.
All right, talk to you soon. All right, peace.
Peace.
All right, we're gonna do one more here. No, I don't want to report. What the heck are you doing? I did never ask that. No. Don't report. That button is way too close. The remove button is way too close to report. You gotta pronounce your name for me. What's going on with you, fam? How you doing? I don't want to butcher your name. I hear people do that to me.
Yo, that's my son's name.
That's your son's name, okay?
Yeah.
What's your
Cyril
name?
Jules.
Cyril Jules, okay. Hey,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me throw the applause in there. Right, hold on. Like, you know, sometimes you see things and your brain doesn't process it quite yet. Like, I see the logo, I see from the profile picture in here, but I just seen somebody like a month ago who I used to see every Sunday of my life when I used to host a venue, and I was literally going into the postal annex, and I walked in there, and I was like, do you guys have stamps? And he was like, no, I said, do you guys have money orders? He was like, yeah, we got money orders. Do you have money orders? And I was like, what the hell? And I looked at him, and he was just like, I was like, and then it clicked in like 3 seconds later. Oh my God, it's you. And I'm like, yo, where have you, like, my brain had to like go through his, you know what I'm saying? Go through his algorithm, like locate face. And I was like, okay, that's the person. But that's kind of what the experience is right here. Man, shout out to you, Cyril, man. It's supremely dope to have you in here. First and foremost, tell the people a little bit about yourself in terms of where you're from and what you do, bro.
All right, before that, I have to say thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, man.
You're a blessing to a lot of people's lives. I've been watching you since about 2018 for sure, because that's when I was delivering mail. Okay. I remember one day we was doing Amazon Sunday. I'm delivering mail, just listening to all your videos. I was like, man, I'm gonna go back. I'm listening to all of this.
That's wild, bro.
And I just kept going. I was like, yo, I ran through the playlist so fast. I'm like, damn, I delivered mail like that. It was so smooth. But yes, thank you for everything you do.
Man, salute to you for that. Thank you.
Oh, man, you're the best. I'm Cyril Jules from CyrilJulesBeats.com. This is the first white tee merch drop.
Let's go.
I've been producing since 2011 officially. And I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but I'm down here in Atlanta now. I have 2 sons and a wife. It's hard to balance everything within each other, but I still find a way to stay inspired, produce music. And I'm getting back into songwriting because I started off as a songwriter, right. Making songs with my brother and my cousin. And it's just been a long journey since then. Yeah.
Well, man, shout out to you. You're definitely a name I've seen here quite some time. So that's super dope. And, like, I just want folks who are in the audience, you already know the vibe. Like, you already know what it is in terms of, folks always ask me, like, do you get tired of hearing people tell the story and say, how impactful the content has been? And I'm like, me getting tired of that, I think will put me in a place of arrogance. For me, I look at it and I'm like, ask somebody in 2003 about conversations like this. They were like, "There's no way, Curtis. That's not going to be a trajectory." Like,
video chat.
Well, I'm just saying in general, just having people always tell you like, "Yo, this is impactful to what my journey." Like, that's what I'm saying, and we've heard it many a times be echoed today. This is why I say the worst I could ever have is a good day, because every day I come in here, I see folks who, like yourself, who I salute you for the entrepreneur, for the independent creative that you are, and I see that and I'm like, man, it means a lot. So it's good to actually put a face and a voice to it. But I'm curious, man. So you, as somebody who is a entrepreneur, as a pops, as a husband, what do you think, from your vantage point, is the biggest distraction for music producers and
Ooh.
artists in this independent field?
So I remember I watched your video not too long ago. You said something about balance, but you ain't call it balance. You substituted the word for, I think you said
harmony.
Harmony.
Yeah, I had to stop myself. I was like, this ain't about you, Curtis. Go ahead and let him say balance, and I'm gonna just shut up. But yeah, it was harmony. It was harmony.
It was harmony.
It was harmony.
Yeah. So I was listening to that at work, and I'm listening like, man, that's the perfect word.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I find myself within everything I have to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I work a job still. I work at the Postal Service. That's what you mentioned. You go into the Postal Service.
Okay, word.
So I work at a plant, 1 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And then I come home. Well, I go straight to the gym, as soon as I get off 10 o'clock at the gym to like 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
I'm marathon training. One of your songs is in there. Two
one?
of your songs is in there.
Which
Get
ones?
It on my own.
Which ones?
Get It on My Own.
Get on my own. Okay.
And the last one.
Which one?
The last one. To the fullest.
To the fullest. Okay.
To the fullest is
Word.
actually early on my running list too, because that joint get me so amped up. I know, I have about like 5 songs before that one.
Mm-hmm.
So you hit around the 30-minute mark.
I'm honored, bro.
Once that song hits, believe me,
you in full stride.
Oh my God. My pace picks up.
Yeah.
So this my fault to get off track from everything.
You good.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I don't know if have you ever heard of my beat tape Creatine?
Nah, I haven't.
Man, okay,
I gotta go back. I'm gonna go back.
Yeah. I'm gonna put that on your radar. Creatine.
Creatine.
Creatine it's a obviously creatine because of the protein powder and all that, but it's also a play on the words create 10. I create 10 tracks, and I literally made that to simulate a 30-minute workout. So
okay,
I'm gonna leave you with that, and I'll give you all the information. But please continue.
I'm gonna need that. So the whole thing is basically like trying to find balance. Once I get home from gym or running,
mm-hmm.
I come home. I decompress for a little while. I still haven't gotten sleep since work. So 2 o'clock, got to pick up my older son, who's 8 years old, Adanian. His name is on here.
Right.
He told me to shout out Gamer Adanian. He told me to do it. My fault. I'm sorry.
Shout out to him. You good. You go. Shout out to him.
He said, why you going to shout me out, Dad? I got you. But I go pick him up at 2:15, then come home, make sure he shower, eat, does homework.
Right.
That's till like 4 o'clock. From 4 o'clock, I got a little gap right there to decompress, make some phone calls, talk to people, talk to artists, reach out to artists, see what I need to upload to my beat store, what beat tapes is going out, what promotions going out for the day, check all the analytics, the data, who's paying attention to me.
Yeah.
What do they want from me?
Right.
All of that space right there. 6 o'clock comes, I got to get my baby son, 2 years old. And then from there, he comes home, make sure he eats, shower, and then try to get him to sleep. He finally goes to sleep. 8 o'clock, I'm good until, I go to sleep at 10:30 at night.
11:30, 12:30, 1. What are we doing? How? Sway, like I'm a dad. I'm my first time dad, but still, how?
I run off of probably like 3:15. Well, an hour of napping throughout work because of my breaks.
Okay.
So, and I run off of adrenaline. Like, truthfully, man, I'm in go mode right now.
Right.
I don't want to stop. People be like, "Oh, you're gonna crash." Oh, like it's okay. Yeah. I get my 3 hours of sleep sometimes. I weave it in there, and then get back to business because I don't want to say this, but pun intended, we get enough sleep when we die. Even though I'm not looking forward to death no time soon,
right.
I take care of my body and my health. So
them babies need you, man. Them babies need you for sure. So but
I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah, I know. Who am I to talk? I'm up here staring at you in the eyes with the audacity with these bags under my eyes, talking to you about sleep. How dare me talk to you about sleep with these bags under my eyes? Like, you know what I'm saying? The chat will be like, for real. You talking about sleep, Curtis? You know what's dawning on me, and you're kind of echoing this right now, and Lawrence Reed kind of echoed this too. As much as we've looked at jobs in our culture, right, in terms of just hip hop culture and being artists and producers, as much as we've looked at jobs as being a hindrance to the advancement of our careers musically, what y'all are helping me to understand, and it's the same thing I was talking to my wife about a few days ago, is that I feel like sometimes the structure of work makes you stay structured in every other aspect of your life, because you know when your clock in time comes, you're coming back.
Yeah.
Like it's not negotiable. Like you just not gonna have a job. So it's almost like if I don't use, as you said, that hour between, before you got to pick up your son at 3, or if you don't use these pockets of time in a structured manner, it throws off the entire situation.
Oh yeah.
So, so that it makes me feel like for independent artists and producers, maybe it's time for us to revisit that stigma of quote unquote embarrassment, even though I don't think anybody should be embarrassed about holding down a job. Like if anything, like you're showing how dedicated you are, because you're funding the very business that you want to sometime be your full-time gig, but it shows discipline.
So I have to say this is advice for everyone.
Please do.
What I do with my job money is use that to fund the necessities of life. And then whatever I make from my online income resources, I use that to fund that itself. So one day I could chill and not have to worry about a job. And also I'm using my job, because I've been with this company for a while, about like 4 years, to also get the house that I want, to get a better home loan and work my build leverage. Because once they see you with a company for so long, they have that trust in you. Yeah. They're going to throw you that loan, and I'm going to just flip that loan.
That's how it is.
Thank you for the shout out.
Yeah. No, that's how it is. I think,
shout out to chat.
Yeah, shout out to chat, bro. But I think that's
my fault.
I think that's how it is. I think it's how it's supposed to be, bro. Like how we're able to make the separation between it too. And one thing I keep hearing echoed in those two things I talked about, Earl Nightingale and even As a Man Thinketh, is how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you're inefficient at your 9 to 5, if you cut corners at your 9 to 5, that is a part of your personality that needs to be addressed. Because when it comes to the things that you really do enjoy doing, that you really are building on, you're going to cut corners on merchandise. You're going to cut corners on your website. You're going to cut corners. And it may not feel like cutting corners because you're like, I'm doing everything my own. Yeah. But that's going to be a part of, like, it's imprinted in your personality at that point. So I think that's a crucial thing that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Man. That's what's
all
up.
right, so to answer your question, what's the biggest distraction? Well, I have 2 sons.
Okay.
One is gamer Danian, who loves video games, so half of my setup is dedicated to his gaming.
Fire.
You know, he got a PlayStation 5, he got all the games.
Okay.
VR headset, PlayStation 4, Xbox, Nintendo Wii, Switch.
I'm here with him.
Hey, look, see?
Man. It's always within reach.
He's like this all day. Whoa. Like, hey, man, can you relax? Yeah, and he doesn't talk, he yells.
Okay.
But so the game, with me having all these gaming systems, sometimes that brings a sense of peace to me because my friends are on the game. Like the new Call of Duty just came. That's my bonding time with my brothers because they play the game. And I'm in Atlanta now and they're in New York City. So the game brings me that connection and peace. And it's something, I could just call them on the phone. We could have a little conversation, but like, we could have that same conversation through the game chat while having kills and having fun.
It's like a pickup game at that point.
Yeah. So I make sure I do that in a certain amount of time. Like I don't spend all day playing games. Yeah. I make sure the main thing is, having a balanced structure, time blocking yourself, and doing everything you need to do before your day. Well, before your night ends, write down everything you need to do. When you wake up, see what you have to do that. And then make some time for free time. Well, that's my advice to others as well.
That's crucial. That's crucial, man. That's a gym and a half. So has it always been like that? Like what was Cyrell Jules pre-family dynamic?
Ooh, pre-family, I was doing everything. I had to learn how to make beats. I had to learn how to write songs. I had to learn how to engineer because all my brother did was rap. All my cousin did was rap.
Okay.
So I took on everything. I bought the Pro Tools M box for like $1,000.
Sheesh.
Don't do it, people. Don't do it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do it. Get a focus right.
They're not a sponsor. You can go ahead and run that one up all the way up. I ain't worried about that one. Yeah,
focus right now.
No,
shout out to DistroKid.
yeah. That one. And then we might have to. I want to You know, I'm going to cut it off. I'm just playing.
Right,
But man, so what advice would you give to that version of yourself who had no idea what the future would hold, who probably had their own habits and ways of doing things? If they were an open ear, right? What would you say words of advice for that version of you?
All right, so that version of me having to do engineering, producing, and recording.
Right.
I did it one time when I was younger too, like 10 years ago, 22. I set a day for just recording. I set a day for just for writing, just for recording, just for mixing, just for production. And with me doing that, back then my job was right across the street, worked in a nursing home in the kitchen.
Okay.
Go wash pots, go home, 2-hour lunch break, make a song, go back,
That's
work,
crazy.
come back.
That's wild. That's not normal, but I love it. I love it.
I never released none of these songs though.
But you did
come
it.
Back. Yeah, I was bugging. I still got them too. Come back, make a beat, try to write a song or get somebody else to write a song, then EQ it. But it's better to do it day by day.
Yeah.
That's my advice for stop being so sporadic. I was telling somebody this story the other day. I was making a video. I was editing one of my son's videos on his YouTube when he was getting his first haircut. I was editing the video while making a beat. So the beat for that video, I made it while editing the video.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I was bugging.
You talking to another person that bugs out a whole lot. So you just this ain't new. It's just like, oh man, I wish I didn't see so much of myself in that. But yeah, you talking about the person that do 20-hour edits on a 4-minute YouTube video. Like why? What? Why?
Yeah. Hey, I feel you. It's needed for the community. We love it.
Man, it is, bro. Well, I surely appreciate not only you telling your story, being so transparent about it, but also, man, it's good to just finally like chop it up with you and connect here in this version of life right now, man.
I'm gonna meet you in real life one day too.
Come on now, you already know that's gonna happen. I say everybody I talk to, I'm like, it's just a matter of time. Like, if you can find me on YouTube, I know I can find you in this world, especially in Atlanta. There ain't no reason why not.
Oh yeah.
So, man, salute to you, bro. Man, definitely, you know what I'm saying? Send love to the family and all that. And
thank you.
Get some rest, bro. From somebody that look
good.
like this.
I'm off tonight. Look, I'm off tonight. You know,
From somebody look like this.
Look, I only work 40 hours a week on the job.
Only.
So the rest of that's, you know.
Only.
We used to have to do 6 days, 12 hours. One day off, and this is when the newborn.
You're not gonna make me look at only 40 hours no differently by telling me what you used to do. That's not how this works. Man said only 40 hours. Only somebody who works a whole lot says only 40 hours. I stand 1 hour here on my stand-up desk, and I'm like, woof, man, working hard today. No, I'm playing. But
no, you're good.
Much love to you, family, man. I appreciate it, bro. I really genuinely appreciate it, and I'm gonna holler at you soon. All right.
Yes, thank you for having me. Blessings to all.
Same to you.
I'll see you soon.
Right. Peace. Super dope. Cyril Jules. No, I don't want to remove nobody. Hesh, you've been very patient. You're the last one of the night. It's the last call. I hope you guys have been enjoying this. I promise they won't all be this long. I'm just having a really great time talking to y'all. I really am. This is genuinely dope. May we make it. Never give up. Young Villain, I'm with that. Is this you, by the way? Are you Hesh? Shout out to Focusrite for having affordable interfaces. Shout out to Focusrite for having bulletproof interfaces. I really feel like, I don't want you to test it out, but I really feel like you could block a bullet with the Focusrite. I don't think that's a stretch by any measure. I think a Focusrite can save a life. I think if your car was made out of Focusrite, you could survive a head-on collision. If your whole car was just surrounded by Focusrites, have you ever held one of those in your hand? Not like to move it around, but like held it in your hand and just say like, damn, You know, how like my grandfather's generation would look at cars that were not made of plastic. So this right here, this is a Cadillac. This right here is a Cadillac. This is a Cadillac. That energy, Focusrite. Focusrite. Focusrite is the Wolverine. Hash, are you not there? I don't hear you, fam. All right, I think it's good to end here. We'll get you next time. Focusrite is legitimately the Wolverine adamantium of everything producer related. These things like they're made exactly. They're like they're made of adamantium. Where's the lie? Focusrite has Nokia brick phone energy. Where's the lie? I got Apollo 4 universal audio interface on my truck to record. I feel you, but if you want to protect your Apollo, put a Focusrite in front of it. Focusrite. Let me figure out Focusrite gonna branch off one day and start giving like start putting bulletproof like vest. I would buy, and not that I need it, thank God I ain't got no enemies like that, but I would buy a bulletproof Focusrite vest because I would feel very protected. You know what? Don't give me that because I might start talking crazy to people. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. How about you shut up? You know what? Hit me right here. I dare you. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. You titanium alloy bulletproof from over 1,000 feet up in the air. You can literally tie one Focusrite underneath one of your feet, the other one underneath the other your feet. No shoes. Jump out of a building and land on 2 Focusrites, and the concrete will give way. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I do not approve of this statement. Even though I made it, I don't approve of this statement. Don't do it. But I feel like you can. Don't do it. Don't do it. Allegedly, don't do it. Does that even apply? Allegedly, don't do it. But I feel like if you were to duct tape 2 Focusrites to your feet, your legs might snap. But damn it, your feet will still be in place. You'll be good. You could probably land on all 4s. Just have Focusrites. Don't do it. Don't do it, by the way. Don't do it. Don't do it. But you could probably have Focusrites on every limb. Land like a cat. You would be protected. Imagine the commercials like Focusrite saved my life. Thanks, Focusrite. We are here at Focusrite 2i2. See the benefit in protecting you, not just for your music career, but also for your life. Have you ever given any thought to getting a bulletproof Focusrite vehicle? That's wild. When is the next live stream? We were going live mañana, tomorrow. Tomorrow for the 1st, we're going to go live. We're going to do for location. I'm going to make some beats. I gotta make some beats. I need that for my soul. You may enjoy staying in there for a few hours with us. Maybe you don't, but we're doing that. Wednesday, we're doing Critique My Beats. Thursday, I have to make content. And then Friday, we'll see we'll see what happens next, okay? Okay? We'll see what happens next, all right? I've fallen and I can't get up. I need a Focusrite. No, Weston. No, Weston. No.
I hope so.
Weston.
I hope so.
Weston.
I hope so.
Weston.
I hope so.
Weston. That is hilarious, though. I've fallen and I can't get up. I need a Focusrite. Welcome to Focusrite Solutions. If it wasn't for Focusrite, I've watched way too many infomercials. If it wasn't for Focusrite, I don't think I'd be here today. Focusrite not only giving you clarity within your music, but also extending your life. Thanks, Focusrite. Never. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that, Focusrite. That's a terrible marketing plan. Somebody right now is like, what else, Curtis? I can't believe it's November. Neither can I, says. It is outrageous. I also can't believe so many of you joined us here for a Halloween stream. But nonetheless, thank you so much to everybody who joined us. Much love to you. Hashtag go Sosa. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't jump out the window with Focusrite as your support. Do not put it to the test. Actually, do not put a Focusrite up thinking it'll save a bullet from going through you. That's not for me. I didn't tell you to do that. I just said, I'm curious. I think it's heavy. I think it's a possibility. I didn't tell you to do it. That's that. Young Villain, Curtis, your videos help me believe this music ish is real, really possible, and at times when it can be discouraged, and you remind us to believe in our dreams. Young Villain, I appreciate that, and I mean this with all sincerity when I say I do appreciate that. But for my videos to be so helpful, I just need you to add one more S to Curtis.
I hope so.
I just need one more S to Curtis.
I hope so.
Curtis King.
I just need one more S on Curtis, and I will continue to serve you.
I hope so.
I just need one more S.
I hope so.
I just need one more S.
I hope so.
One more S.
So.
That's it. And I appreciate all the love. You feel me? And the times it could be discouraging, you remind me to believe in the dream. I have one dream.
I hope so.
That somebody will spell my name with two S's.
I hope so.
Just two S's.
I hope so.
Even if it's $2 signs.
I hope so.
I can live with that. Right? Even if it's, what's next to the S? Even if it's two D's. Curtis, Curtidd.
I hope so.
I'll take that. But we just need two S's. And then, you know what I'm saying? We can live on forever. Even if this is even appropriate here. Blake took the liberty of making everything else lowercase so the S's stand out even more. It looks rather, I just started rapping yesterday. It looks kind of that. It's giving that energy. But I'll take it. I would say it's two S's like dessert, but I think that's a little bit inappropriate. I wouldn't want to tell the grown man, yeah, Curtis, two S's like dessert. I don't think you would get that. I think that would make you feel uncomfortable because it makes me feel uncomfortable just to imagine saying that to you. So, that being said, thank you so much. We're going to do this again. Community, be ready to step up and give your input. I'm looking forward to the gems you can give me as well as the rest of the community. Your voice is valuable, so much more valuable than mine, and I could not wait to hear what you got to say. Thank you so much for joining me today. Much love, and yeah.
I hope so.
That's I don't even know how that applies, but I'm going to just keep on using that Kodak Black line. That's it. Have a good one.